all real jobs, all true jobs, you should be able to do drunk. If you can't do it drunk, it's not a real job.
Oh, shit.
It's true.
But let me tell you about my crimes.
They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this. Blah, 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 blah.
And like they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
Oh man, being 12 was weird.
Getting back to the line you're going to do to a medical professional.
Oh, it's so good.
It's beautiful. And Drew, I want you to come up with your own name for this.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been doing a little bit of reading, doing my own research about COVID-19.
Oh, nice.
And I've come to the conclusion that, like, you know what? I should just get a booster. They're throwing them out anyways.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like, you know, everyone says, yeah, it's probably a good idea. But, you know, they only open up to a small group. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cut this line. But I'm not going to give my real name because they might, like, try to pin it back on my insurance. And they'll be like, hey, here's $200 you owe us. So I'm going to show up and say, hello, my name is Max Titters.
Max Titters.
Yeah, let me spell that for you. Titters.
Max Titters.
So Max Titters here is going to go defraud the Walgreens for an extra Moderna.
Do you know what titters
Wait,
are?
like, how are they?
I know
they're
that they're called.
They're not going to check your ID. They're not going to do anything that would.
Well, I lost my ID.
Who could get past this iron shield?
I am Nate, and I have no government identification at all.
No, you're not Nate. Don't say that. Whatever you do,
I'm
don't
Max
say that.
Titters, and I have no government identification.
I feel like I have to say this. If you're going for like in the blood and immunity, they're pronounced titers. It's not titters, which is why I've laughed every time you say Max Titters, because I'm like, does he mean titers? Or is it, am I wrong?
Titters is a synonym for giggles.
Yeah.
It's the French pronunciation.
Oh.
Titters.
Yeah.
Maximilian Titters.
Let me show you how the French pantomime titters.
It's all right. Yeah, he's still really milking the prostate.
It's the same gesture. The same gesture.
No, I'm just going to spread it, and then you spread the cheeks, and you push their pelvis forward. You know?
I should do that. That should really convince him that I haven't gotten a shot yet.
Oh, welcome to Animorphs Time, everybody.
Tyler, what's your fake booster name? You're going to get one,
Oh, my fake booster name.
Yeah.
I thought I was just going to go with Dak Hemi. Just go in there and be all dumb. Or Jagil.
Jagil's pretty good. The Jerahami, I think, is the real answer.
Yeah.
Like, how do you spell that?
Free or die.
All right, Drew, you're up.
It's actually interesting. When I was this is related, I promise. I have a whole arsenal of aliases actually for similar situations like this. When I had just dropped out of college, I was 20 years old, going on 21, and I had this job at this shitty call center, the shittiest call center you can imagine. And it was doing cold call phone surveys.
Ugh.
So asking people like what stores they shop at, or like my favorite one was whenever it was election time. Hey, how are you planning to vote in your local bullshit city ordinance election? But I mean, obviously, I was never gonna give my real name to these strangers that I'm asking about their shopping habits. So let's see. Trying to think of. I actually have. Well, I couldn't find the one I was looking for, but looking through that other notebook, I found one that just is perfect. So my alias is Randy Snaps.
Oh, fuck. Randy Snaps is good.
Randy Snaps. Yeah, that's me.
It's like Ginger Snaps, but a little bit more horny somehow.
That's my wife.
Yeah. It's Randy and Ginger Snaps.
Randy and Ginger Snaps. Yep.
Oh man,
Gross.
yeah, I want
love
that to
it.
happen though. Any Randys or Gingers out there, I will connect you to.
Yeah,
all.
we'll get you hooked up.
And change your last name. On a related note, this is a book about love. It is. It's a book about love. It's a love book.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, we don't even need to do this episode because, like, when it comes to the fandom of the Animorphing Time podcast, a group united over their love for a simpler childhood past. There's probably nobody at all that can relate to the sort of generational trauma that goes on in this book.
No, like this
We
is
all have perfect relationships with our parents and, you know, our place in our social groups here.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't think any of us have ever really gone to look at a place that we used to love and found that it's been completely destroyed and everything about that life is gone and we just have to accept our own mortality. And pretty much the last thing we'll ever do is recognize that we're going to die, and that's just it. There's no God.
You know what? These are all good points. I think the real answer, actually, here's the real answer.
Thank you for
actually.
the well, actually.
You need to fall in love with an idiot. Find the dumbest person you can. Fall in love with them and love them. Don't like take advantage. This isn't like I'm smarter than you so I can trick you. No, just find the person who's simple and love them.
But Doctor, I'm
is
the
the-
stupidest guy in town.
Somebody will love you for that.
Exactly. It works out for everybody.
It's the Ginny and Forrest Gump situation.
Oh God. Back in my Tinder days,
What?
here we go. Like I hate Tinder. I hated all the online stuff. It got to the point where I was so just disaffected and didn't like any of it that I changed my bio to just a Forrest looking for his Jenny. And I got so many angry people.
Angry. Good. No, that's the right.
Well, I mean, yeah,
anger is good.
The ones who got it and were angry were the ones I was attracted to. Because anyone who throws aggression at me, I'm immediately going to be like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
But the people who didn't get it, they're like, who's Forrest and Jenny? And I'm like,
Ugh.
I got to up my age limit on Tinder. 27's too young. I got to go up.
Yeah.
Because, you see all that shit online. It's like just a Jim looking for their Pam or just a April looking for their Andy or whatever the Modern Family one is.
Yeah. I think
Not for me.
that's- Yeah.
Just a Ross looking for his monkey.
Just a Sheldon looking for his bazinga.
Hey.
So yeah, we're back to Animorphing time.
Animorphing time.
And we're back with host favorite, audience favorite,
Yeah,
but I really meant host favorite guest, Drew. Drew, welcome back to Animorphing time.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
What's changed since the last time you were here?
Oh, man. Texas is no longer a frozen hell. That was
Good.
Yeah. We were recording right the Hork-Bajir Chronicles right when Snowpocalypse hit.
Yeah, we had one of those after you. It sucked.
Yeah. It was bad. All my fish died.
We've morphed from a frozen hell to a disease-ridden hell as Greg Abbott has overridden all local ordinances allowing for mandated masks. So,
And I just want to say, Greg Abbott, we're praying for you. We know you've got COVID. We're praying for the right thing to happen.
And here's why you need the alias. Greg Abbott didn't use an alias. He got that third vaccine and everyone knew it.
Greg Abbott, like, we do a lot of goofs and joke 'em ups on this podcast, but let's just say we hope you die. We hope you fucking die, you subhuman piece of shit.
And to quote a really funny joke made by a funnier person, it's illegal to say that will kill you. But it's okay, though, because there is a cure. All you need to do is take some Z-Pack Regeneron, vitamin D. What else is there?
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin. That's what I was going to say. HeartGuard.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
no,
we
it's
can go back
ivermectin.
to the classics and really just find a way to put sunlight inside the body.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
As,
make sure that
as
you
our,
burn
our
sage.
dear president says.
And make sure you avoid miasma. Make sure that you really don't want that. Get some thieves oil.
Okay.
Make sure you rub yourself in thieves oil.
A sprig of silver holly, thrice blessed by moonlight.
But don't curse the moon. Watch out for Allah. Do these things. Make sure that otherwise you're in for bad news.
Yeah, and if you've got just a drop of Quicksilver, I say slide that onto your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for Quicksilver. Famous. Let's get the book. We can't.
Yeah, let's go to the fucking book.
So let's just get into this story.
Hold on. We're here doing Animorphs number 34, The Prophecy.
The prophecy.
The tagline being, "What you don't know can't hurt you, except for the Yerks."
Okay, let's decode what the hell that means.
Well, what you don't know can't hurt you unless there's a bullet coming at you and you're not aware of it. That can hurt you.
Okay.
Check one for Tyler.
No. But like, what is he even trying to say?
I don't know.
As far as the taglines for the books go, this one's pretty weak. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember which book it is specifically. But one of my favorites is a riff on that classic FDR bit. And it was like, there's nothing to fear but the Yerks themselves.
Now that is a good one.
That's a good one.
They just need to repurpose old quotes.
Yeah, there's, by book 34, there's really no need to try and be pithy in a new way. Just keep replaying the hits. Come on.
Ich bin ein Controller. Sorry, I can't. I've got to stop doing JFK. I just walk around and do JFK now.
Ask not. What?
I look at my dog and I'm like, would you like to go outside and have a bowel movement? Just looks at me because he's deaf.
I tried to find the British UK version, but I'm sure it's quippy and straightforward.
Someone will let us know what it is.
It's probably like, watch out for the Yerks. They will find you and get you.
Yeah.
Or the Animorphs are in a spot of bother.
No, it's probably a Churchill quote that they added Yerks to. I mean, let's just be honest.
So
we will fight the Yerks on the beach. We will fight the Yerks in the shopping mall. And we will go to outer space planets to fight the Yerks.
It's an ugly planet. A Yerk planet. And it's a Cassie book.
It is a Cassie book.
Yep.
Right. And like I've noticed something with Cassie books. I usually really enjoy them. Like, they're not like so emotionally draining that I'm just like, just have to like sit down like I do with Tobias books. But like they also like, I feel like I get something out of them, right? Like there's usually some like message where I kind of like get some introspection and like, it's like, oh, this is a nice message that we have here, Cassie book. And in this case, Cassie is really dealing with her undying love of Jake and committing murder crimes.
Yeah. Cassie loves Jake to the point that she drew it on some homework.
What an in media res to start the book off. We just roll up into this book with a break and enter situation.
Yeah, Cassie and Rachel are breaking into the math teacher's house because Cassie doodled a heart around Jake's name and she would just die straight away if anyone were to read such improprieties.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Like, have you ever like doodled like, Tyler loves so-and-so, Jen?
Don't name the girl who took my virginity. Don't you dare do that. How dare you?
This is deep lore right here. This is
So, true story about Jen.
Oh my god.
Back in the MSN days, we were chatting in high school because she went to a different high school. She was real. People know her. Nate's met her.
Nate's dated her once.
Shut up.
Whoa. Hey.
Nate and I have always been best friends who have no weird competitive nature about our friendship at all.
It wasn't competitive.
Shut up. But she came to one of our play rehearsals and gave me a card where she drew us holding hands. And the card said something like, I'm peanut butter and you're jelly. We just go together. And I'm like, we went to Orange Julius once. This is cool.
Nice.
And so I get home and I log on.
She did that unprompted.
Yeah.
After one trip to Orange Julius?
Yeah, I'm really good at Orange Julius. Girls have always wanted more after. And I go home. I log on to my computer. I get on the MSN Messenger. I'm going to talk to Nate. I'm going to talk to my friend Andy. I'm going to talk to Mike. I'm going to talk to Ian Noland.
Cool Border?
I'm going to talk to Cool Border 767, Punk Border 767. And I log on there and I see Jen's login name is Peanut Butter. And I know she wants me to change mine to Jelly, But
Whoa.
listeners, I'll tell you, no woman can tame Tyler. Did not do it. I left it a Green Day lyric. I will never change. No woman can change me. Only I can change me.
Be honest. How many months afterwards did you make the realization that you should have become jelly to her peanut butter?
Oh, I knew right away.
Oh,
Everybody's
okay.
like, you know what you got to do. And it's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
All right. It was. You faced down that elephant right in the room.
I had to.
You did not completely obliviously miss the elephant.
I want to die on my feet than live on my knees, which is not true. I'll live on my knees. It's fine.
Also, as one more quick aside, I'm curious to hear Nate's perspective, especially. But what was your emotional reaction to the description of this teacher's house? Did you have one in particular?
It seemed like a haunted mansion.
Thank you.
Like this math teacher lives in a haunted mansion.
It felt like a decrepit, abandoned. Like I got the impression the teacher was a squatter in this house.
I mean, yeah, with teachers' wages, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, yeah, that was my thought. I was like, is this a statement of some kind? Like the home is not described as stately. It's not described as even like historically important. Like it's just a rundown fucking shack.
It's in the Croydon part of Animorphs town that we talked about.
You know what? It probably is. It's probably like he bought it with high aspirations. Then something happened. He got divorced, and he's a teacher. And then he just gave up. This man gave up. And even if he reads Cassie loves Jake, he's just gonna be like, she does not.
Oh wait, was it a he?
Was it?
I thought it was a she, but
I thought it was
know.
a she. I don't think we find out for sure, but I got the vibe that it was like this very sad old woman, like living alone in this drafty,
Well, it's the same reaction though. Like, she does not love them. Like, it's whatever. Like this house, somebody bitter lives in this house. But
yeah, a math teacher. They're bitter. They're all bitter. That's why they're math teachers.
Yeah, true.
Either way, we get something that you love to see. We get to see a Tom and Jerry or Itchy and Scratchy team up, and I love that.
Or other mouse and cat.
Name one more mouse and cat duo. Do it.
One more.
Call
mouse
me on it. Come on, Nate.
All right, hold on.
Nate, you called me on it. Do it.
A Garfield and the mouse that they're friends.
Oh
actually,
wait, no,
they're friends.
come on, fucking Duchess and Roquefort, the Aristocats and their friend Mouse.
I never would have pulled that out of my ass ever in my life.
Never has there been more an
Jesus
iconic
Christ!
duo.
I quit this podcast. I'm too stupid to do it.
I mean, like
All
there's
right,
more.
Duchess and Rockford.
What do you call the act?
The Aristocrats.
Aristocats. Yeah.
No, Rachel turns into Fluffer McKitty.
Yeah. And Cassie just turns into some random rat.
Into David, yeah.
probably
David trap, yeah.
Yeah.
And they decide they're going to steal the homework.
Yeah,
And they do.
and it has absolutely zero bearing on the rest of the book.
Yeah, that's 25 minutes into this.
Well,
Yeah.
they have to have the intro of like, I'm fighting a secret war.
Yeah,
I'm
you get
covered
your
in bird
little,
shit always.
Actually, I will say that the one thing that we sort of get a hint of is Cassie is very self-conscious about her morphing.
Yeah.
And Cassie is already at this point aware that she has an easier time with the morphing than all of her friends.
Yep.
And one thing that I was going to mention, actually, hear you just bring up the fact that it's a Cassie book, Nate. The thing that I think makes the Cassie books really compelling is that out of everybody, Cassie feels like she is the most normal reactions to everything that goes on. Like everybody wants to believe that they would, be a Jake or, be a Rachel or, even be a Tobias and have like these very distinctive reactions to this sort of horrific situation. But Cassie is just like the most normal girl out of all of them.
Cassie, I totally agree. Cassie is the most normal one, but she has the same thing that Tobias has, while Tobias is the not normal one. Cassie, what makes her compelling is that she has conflict in her heart, in her character. A lot of the other characters do not have conflict. Sure, like, oh, Jake's got to kill his brother or whatever.
Marco misses his mommy.
Yeah, but Cassie's conflict is internal, and that always makes for more compelling stories.
Well, here's the follow-up that there may be an answer later on in the books. Why is Cassie the best morpher? Like, what is it about her that makes her so good at it?
They already explained it. They're like, some people are just good at it.
I disagree. I think that it's because, and I think this is the reason why I like Cassie books in general, is that she has the strongest inner monologue. She's able to eloquently describe her thoughts.
Sure.
More so than the others. That's why she comes across as like, the normal straight-laced one, is because she kind of has control of herself a little bit.
Sure. I see where you're coming from, and I agree with that. I think that that's an interesting parallel to Tobias as well, in that Tobias also has a very strong inner monologue, but to the extent that he has accepted his life as the Falcon, as the Hawk, Red-tailed Hawk, excuse me. And so in the same way, we get the sense that Tobias has more or less mastered the mind of the Hawk, and Cassie's strong inner monologue lets her override the instincts of the animals, or the unnatural meshing of the animal self with herself.
Yeah, and proof by contradiction, who's the worst morphers?
Marco,
and probably Jake, I imagine.
Yeah.
They don't really have a lot of
nothing going on. Nothing going on.
Like if we could morph into a basketball.
Right. It's Marco when he morphs looks like every drawing a kid does. It's like, okay, I can kind of see what you're going for.
Yeah.
So Cassie and Rachel, they have like a moment, stealing homework.
They steal homework. They turn into owls, go home. Cassie starts immediately getting horned up. She's thinking, yeah, I did draw that. I wonder what it'd be like to kiss Jake again. We've done it before, but maybe I'd like to kiss him not because I think he was just dead, or because he thought I was just...
We've just gotten through the most traumatic experience of our lives.
Right.
On a date or something.
Yeah, like what if we went to the movie and kissed? Haha, what if?
But all of a sudden,
it would be awkward.
In the midst of her budding sexual fantasies, we see a shape looming in the darkness. It's a Hork-Bajir.
Get its eyes. Go for the eyes right now.
Go for it.
Get those beady eyes.
Cassie's life flashes before her eyes. She's like, they know about my fucking family. They're here. They know. Oh God, what are my friends doing? Doesn't matter. I gotta rip out some eyes.
I'm sure there's a similar scene in The Sopranos. I haven't finished it. It's like if you're on what is it when they try to hide you away for being a witness? Witness protection. Yeah, like if you get caught in witness protection, like, oh, there is some mafioso in here. He's probably killed my family already, and now he's coming to kill me.
Uh-oh, you just described one episode of The Sopranos, but really it's more accurately when Tony confronts Ralph Cifaretto about Pyomai. It's all over a misunderstanding, but someone doesn't make it out of that. It's Ralph Cifaretto.
Oh.
Damn. Spoiler alert for a 25-year-old TV show.
You know what? Forget about it.
Yeah.
And then,
Sorry.
oh, fuck, it's Jarahami.
Yeah, Jarahami, our boy.
Oh, don't kill him. He's nice.
What's Jarahami up to? What's he doing here?
Well, he is coming to get help from none other than your pals, the Animorphs.
They need him. The Hork-Bajir need him.
Jarahami need the Animorphs.
Jarahami lets them know, oh, the Arn is here.
No, he says, Alien Cum Valley. Quote from the book.
Which is probably my fetish.
And well, she understands this. The Yerks.
She's like, oh, yes, I was just thinking about Alien Cum Valley, too.
God damn it.
No, not Yerks. Arn.
See, on the muscular physique of a Hork-Bajir, they don't call them gutters, they call them valleys.
Here's peaks and valleys.
Jesus Christ.
Nooks and crannies.
Fuck. Father deep.
All right.
Exactly.
An Arn here on Earth? What's he up to? Rachel wondered. He has to come. Star Wars, the Do not come.
Do not come.
He had to come. He had to come. Star Wars. I guess I'm saying it. I'm doing it again.
Yeah, let's get a clean take of he had to come.
Okay, I'll read you in. I'll read you in. Here you go.
Please do.
An Arn on Earth? Here? Why? That's the question. What's he up to? Rachel wondered.
He had to come. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, isn't coming out on DVD for like 2 years. He buys up a bunch of them, takes them home, and makes a fortune.
Yeah, Arn loved the prequels.
Yeah, he has to come.
I honestly did not remember until I reread this one. Like, one of the things I love about Animorphs is that it's not afraid to date itself with pop culture references.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the idea that like when this came out, the Phantom Menace was the hottest new thing.
Well,
Hold on, wait. Don't be dissing TPM, is what I will say.
Cool is cool. Okay.
Star Wars had never seen such a funny character like this before.
Jar Jar is a key to all this. If we get Jar Jar working, because he's a funnier character than we've ever had in any of the movies before.
Oh yeah, no, you have to make sure that you get Jar Jar Binks right.
That poor guy. I feel bad for him. Not the actor, the character, Jar Jar Binks. They just kind of forgot about him.
No, he became a senator.
Yeah, I know. They forgot about him.
Yeah.
The fans didn't forget.
Even that fucking, what's his name? From the new ones.
Dak Cammy.
Kylo Ren even gets a plot arc.
What's Dexter's 90s diner?
Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto. He's around. Come on, let's keep it going. What else
do
we
you
got?
know? A Camino Shaber dart.
All right, who else we got? You got the
Sebulba.
You got the
Sebulba.
voodoo. You got the wacky.
I mean, you got Water the junk dealer.
Let's no one do our Watto impression.
I was about to say, they got
impression.
those Southeast Asian trade merchants. They're hanging around.
You've got everybody's favorite conehead Kiadi Mundi.
Yep.
Mace Windu, obviously.
Yeah. Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Strong character has a lot to do with the plot.
Yeah. Drew, I seem to recall you being a little younger than us.
Yeah.
Did you see Phantom Menace in theaters?
I did see Phantom Menace in theaters. I want to say I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So I think it was 98 or 99.
Yeah, I was in middle school.
You're leaving some key facts out about the Phantom Menace.
Well, yeah, it sucks, and it will always suck. And I don't care if people like it. I just remember coming out of the Phantom Menace, loving it because I was dumb and 12, and I looked up at my friend's older brother, and he goes, "Did you like that, Tyler?" And I said, "Yeah, I loved it. He had the double lightsaber," and he just goes, "Yeah, you would like that."
That's a classic older brother move.
Or Clone Wars that we saw with MC Chris.
It was Clone Wars. Yeah, we saw Clone Wars with MC Chris and Transformers with MC Chris.
We made some good choices back then.
Like in person with MC Chris?
Yeah, he came to Eugene where we were living, and he did a concert, and part of the concert was go see Attack of the Clones with MC Chris after his concert.
That's
and we
awesome.
did that. And he loved it. He was hooting and hollering during the whole damn thing. It was great.
Yeah, midichlorians. I wonder how many. That's why Cassie's such a good morpher. She has tons of midichlorians.
Yeah, her midichlorian count's off the charts.
No, that's cut the tape. We're not gonna do that.
I'm gonna make it so we cut it by doing my Watto impression. Here we go.
I was this close. I was this close.
I won't do it. I can't do it. I know what it'll be. No one will like it.
Okay, fine. Let's do your Toby impression.
Kobe?
Toby.
Oh, Toby?
Yeah, I mean Toby just talks like a normal teenage girl. I mean Toby's smart.
Hey, welcome Animorphs. You come here to help us?
The stinko.
Oh.
We gotta stop. Darth Vader built C-3PO? Are you kidding me?
Even more surprising, our savvy readers will remember that the Arn
Yeah,
are
please.
the indigenous alien species of the Hork-Bajir homeworld.
Yeah.
They are
Tiny little guys.
tiny little guys. They look like little feathery. I always kind of imagined them as being like somewhere between like a flying squirrel and like a little kind of like lizard or something like that.
Yeah. That's a great description.
I always picture it as like if Quado like crawled out of a person and became like a whole alien, and then could like fly and had jewel eyes.
And he had the 3 tits, yeah.
Yeah, might as well. Let's throw that in there. Because you don't know what aliens do.
Toby, start the reactor.
Well, I mean, like, so let's learn more about this Arn that landed in the valley. What's his name?
Well, I'll tell you his name.
Do it. Because I called him Queef the whole book.
No, that's not his name. That's not his name.
Let me find the page here. I am Quaffaginavan, he said.
All right.
The species you claim to know is no more, and I am the last of the Arn.
Quaffagilon?
Quaffaginavion.
Quaffaginavion. What's it? Infirmediton?
What?
I need Z-Pack and Quaffagilon.
Regeneron!
Quaffagilon!
So Queef Regeneron comes up and reveals that he is the last of the Arn, and
and he wants to get revenge on these filthy Yerks.
I mean, yeah, they were doing some heinous stuff.
By doing race science. He wants to do more race science.
He did a little bit of race science, and, you know, he wasn't the one that proposed it.
he wants to return to the home planet with the ostensible goal of repatriating the Hork-Bajir and helping them live their best lives.
By making clones of the free Hork-Bajir.
By making
an
clones
attack of the clones, one might say.
An attack of the clones.
Oh, no. God damn it, no.
Whoa.
Who's their Boba Fett? Right? Why did he come here in the first place? He needs Boba Fett's DNA, aka all of the Hork-Bajirs.
Yep.
Wait,
to make this clone army.
You mean Jango Fett?
Sorry, Jango.
Yeah.
Fett. I thought
Blue Boba Fett.
Blue Boba Fett.
Okay, right.
Wait, so does that mean that Dak Hami the Seer is just a simple Hork-Bajir trying to make his way in the galaxy?
Yeah.
God damn it. You're going to add Fett's vet to this, aren't you, you fuck?
No, I'm not. I would never.
My back fat.
Got
jets.
Boba Fett.
I'm a devious degenerate defender of the devil, shuffling all the trash compactors on the detention level. My backpacks got jets. Well, I'm Boba, the Fett. Well, I bounty hunt for Jabba Hutt to finance my vet.
I've already done Robot Dog far too many times.
You know what? Who cares? Fuck it. This one's off the rails. Fuck it.
No, we can put it back on the rails, right? Because the Arn has come here with 3 side quests for our adventure.
He's like, I want your blood.
Okay.
Give me your blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to kill the Yerks.
Okay.
I'm going to put a dead spirit in your heart.
Okay.
Whoa,
And
okay.
There's one more.
There's one more?
Yeah. Why does he want to put a dead spirit in my heart?
Because he needs guns. He needs
You have
guns.
to go on a fetch quest to find the hidden gun stockpile.
Yeah. Because, Drew, you're familiar with Aldrea.
Oh yeah.
What's Quaffinajon's plan here?
So, using the key item of Aldrea's mystical soul jar, his
The exoclotl.
I'm not even going to try on that one.
I couldn't.
There's like 3 or 4 made up words that are in italics in this book, and
Can I just read from my notes for chapter 4?
yeah, please.
This sums up chapter 4 perfectly. Here we go. Q-Man wants the altaphylaxal, wants 2 antaphylaxal Andrea's elixical into a strong lady.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That made sense to everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're a fan, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Let's break it down. What is an antaphylaxal?
That's the jar.
Okay,
No,
The
that's,
spirit?
no,
No.
That's the
the procedure.
The
That's the procedure.
The ritual.
The ritual
Yeah.
to
They're manifesting. Okay.
Okay.
That's the
Who-
the
yeah.
Wiccan. that's how you hex the moon, by performing the adaphylaxal.
And again, don't hex the moon. Do not hex Allah.
Watch out. Just any
Don't
god, just
astral
don't
project and look into
Don't.
Allah's eyes. Okay.
don't try to kill God in general. Like they're pretty strong.
Yeah,
Unless you have a 7-foot sword and a party of anime ragtag misfits.
I was going to say only Shinji can do it, but
Yeah.
I've been on that Evangelion kick, whatever.
When you think about it, the Animorphs are kind of a JRPG party in a lot of ways.
Oh God, this is going to get bad. But yes, I agree.
Okay, so let's
I don't need
continue.
to dissect it further than that, but if anybody can kill God, it's probably the Animorphs,
We have a long glossary to get ahead of. So who is Andrea?
Drew, this is you. You're the expert.
Yeah,
You're the Andrea expert.
Aldrea is the daughter of Ciro the Fool, the Andalite prince responsible for unleashing the Yerk plague upon the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As you do when you're, a soft-hearted, well-meaning liberal.
Two.
And so Aldrea, goes into exile, gets plopped down on the Hork-Bajir planet. Her family gets killed by the Yerks. Big surprise. They're evil brain slugs. Mm-hmm. And she ingratiates herself with the local tribe of simpletons and their smart older brother, Dakhami.
And she does a dance with the wolves.
She does a dances with wolves. Yep.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's exactly what that is, right?
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's she's an avatar. She goes into the new body.
Right.
So she becomes a Jake Sully, to Dakhami's, I can't even think of that character's name. But
fuck.
yeah.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares?
Kit Fisto.
Fisto, yeah.
She does a Last Samurai.
Zoe Saldana. So she does a Last Samurai, Dances with Wolves avatar. Dakhami is her Zoe Saldana. And they fuck.
Cool.
And they make a baby that crawls on her tummy.
And what was the baby's name? It was
Baby's name is
Ciro.
also Ciro, after her late father. And the baby Ciro, we learn, it's not really that important of a detail, but the baby Ciro becomes a slave of the Yerks, a controller, Hork-Bajir controller. But Ciro grows up, fucks, and has a child called Jarahami. And Jarahami becomes a free Hork-Bajir.
Yep.
Now, we know Jerahami well.
Yep. And Jarahami's daughter is Toby. And Toby is special.
Toby is different.
And the last word is the ixical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the jar of soul.
Yeah, the icicle is the soul jar.
Right. So, does everyone here understand the sentence? Q-Man wants to ataflaxcal Andrea's ixical into a strong lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I think anyone listening who's never read Animorphs will know exactly what we're talking about.
yeah.
Excellent.
Really, that summary is about as precise and efficient as you can be there. That's high word economy.
And who are the two strongest ladies in this collection here?
Rachel and Toby.
Rachel and
Very
Toby.
two strong ladies.
It's Toby volunteers because that's my grandmama.
Yeah.
Grandmama.
It possessed me.
And Rachel's like,
Rachel
I want to rip
volunteers
fuckers
because,
up.
as Marco constantly reminds us, she is Xeno warrior princess.
Yes.
Timely and relevant female role model.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have two volunteers. Let's kick off this.
Ataflaxal.
Anaphylactic shock syndrome. Let's kick off this Aflac. They go into a spooky cave because that's necessary.
Yeah.
And they light some incense and candles.
They got their crystals arrayed. They got their essential oils.
Yeah, and they start the summoning.
Yeah. They uncork their fucking soul juice.
Yeah, and out comes like a little vapor. And the vape wave doesn't actually go towards Rachel or Toby.
Whoa.
And instead hits the person who was just there to watch. Cassie.
Have you ever been taking a test and totally blanked? You read a question, you know the answer, you know you memorized it when you were studying, but you can't get to it. It's like there's a wall in your brain separating you from the information. That's how I felt now, and the wall was enormous, high and long and solid. I was pretty sure Aldrea was on the other side of the wall, but nothing was getting through. I wasn't picking up even a fragment of a thought or a hint of an emotion. The only thing I knew was that something, some force, some bundle of sensations, some object or person was sitting inside my mind. It was as if she was behind me or beside me, but turning my head I couldn't see her. There but not visible. There nevertheless.
Hell yeah.
Paging Stephen King, Marco said quietly. R.L. Stein calling Stephen King with a message from Anne Rice.
Yeah, just throw some more bullshit in here.
Yeah.
That's Marco. That's what he
I'm
does.
surprised there was no Dean Koontz reference there, honestly.
I mean, Marco would have been the kid who's like, yeah, I read Dean Koontz before I read Stephen King. I'm just different, I guess. So yeah, Cassie's got Aldrea in her head.
And her first question is, did she know she was dead? Good question. She did not.
No, Aldrea did not know she was dead.
True. Yeah.
She wakes up and immediately is like, where's my boyfriend?
My name is Aldrea Iskalon Falon, and I've been told I'm dead. Tyler, you're dead.
I know, inside anyway.
I mean, like, imagine, like, if you just woke up and somebody told you you died and you're possessing somebody else's body. How would you take that?
I'd make them get naked and jump in front of a mirror.
Drew? Do you have a real answer?
Well, interestingly, I think that sort of the answer to that comes when Cassie is still trying to process the presence of this other being inside of her mind. So I'm gonna touch on this, and then we can talk about Aldrea's perspective. But Cassie says, "I felt a strange desire to go and press my forehead against Toby's. It took me a moment to realize the desire was Aldrea's." And just like sort of that disembodied longing towards, an action that you can't explain, I think is a really just like immediate and poignant way to sort of frame Cassie's reaction to that. And I think it's classic Cassie that, like, she's about to just go do it. She's like, I have this desire to, like, go make physical contact with Toby Hammy, and, like, why shouldn't I? And so she starts to actually go and, like, fulfill this instinct for closeness with Toby, and then she gets sort of caught up in the mental monologue of Aldrea coming to realize that she is within Cassie's head.
And I mean, for a ghost-written book, this is actually a really beautiful, unique detail, because you look at humans doing a similar thing. Like, if I see someone crying, my natural instinct is to go over to them and hug them and comfort them. When this longing hits Aldrea, her instinct is to go put her forehead against Dak Hemi, and that's a beautiful little alien, different but similar emotional kind of thing. Yeah. And it's really just a beautiful little touch.
Yeah. And because it was established as well. Like, this is it's a cool throwback detail, and it shows that the ghostwriter. Let me look up her name real quick, because I want to give her credit here. But
it is Melinda Metz, one of the better ones. We've had her. We've talked about her before.
Melinda Metz.
Probably told her to do better.
Really?
Shout out to Melinda. But you can tell that Melinda did her research for sure, because in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, the first time Aldrea morphs a Hork-Bajir and sort of accepts her attraction and her physical desire towards Dak Hammy, there's a description of the sensation of essentially a Hork-Bajir kiss, which is pressing the forehead together and letting the horns touch on top of the head. And
not that third horn. That one's from marriage.
You love that third horn. Let Drew make a point, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I believe that all Hork-Bajirs have 3 horns on top of their heads, so fourth horn maybe.
You gotta order that at Taco Bell. It doesn't matter how
many horns you have, okay? It's how you rake them.
Yeah, but ain't no one gonna hit my 4 holes with 3 horns.
Liv Moss.
Jesus. Jesus. I'm really sorry we derailed your nice, thoughtful point to talk about horns and holes.
And, well, I think it's with this book because, like, what's the first thing that Andrea gets assaulted with?
Pain.
Okay, pain. You're dead.
Loss.
Give us some guns. Can you find guns?
Yeah.
We need guns.
And yeah, so the immediate request is be useful to our war effort.
Right.
But yeah, and so then chapter 7 touches on our first point of view chapter for Aldrea. And so this is a dual point of view book, and then it switches back and forth between Cassie and Aldrea. And there's this very sort of heavy and very tired feeling that I get from all of the Aldrea point of view chapters, especially as she ruminates and reflects on the fact that she's, just this icicle living in Cassie's head. I'm not going to learn the word.
No, you don't have to. We are not the Sticklers Animorphs podcast. We call her Andrea. Who gives a fuck?
Well, you call her Andrea. I still only gave you guys one.
That's all Nate needs to do it forever.
Jerry Hemme.
But yeah, I get the sense the Aldrea chapters are really cool because it's a perspective that we don't really often see in young adult fiction and young adult literature, which is sort of this world weary, experienced and beaten down sort of older female perspective.
Well, how about this? Is this the first adult that we are seeing from an adult's perspective? Aside from the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, right? I mean, I suppose eventually, and even then, most of it is in their adolescence.
I mean, yeah, they're young in that too. And Elfangor and Lauren are young.
In the Andalite Chronicles, they're pretty young. We get a little bit of the perspective as Elfangor plays out his sort of adult married life toward the end of that. But I think the only other adult perspective we ever get is point of view. So, for instance, shout out to one of the immediately prior books, the Tobias book, where he gets the dream vision from Elfangor. Mm-hmm. And we get the adult sort of perspective, the fatherly dream vision, hanging their son. But yeah, the adult perspective is very rare in this series for sure. And so Aldrea is it's unusual and it's really powerful as a result.
And it's sold as this world weary warrior, and it's important for this person to be involved with Cassie because it's just older Cassie, right?
Yeah,
this is Cassie after the war.
Yeah. And the part of the Aldrea chapters that really moved me, a lot of it is how it's written. It reads a lot like an elegy or like a requiem. It's someone mourning their own life and their own death in a wacky kids book, and it elevates this book above a lot of books just because the seriousness and the tone, because you get stuff like this. I felt a wave of sadness from Cassie. I shoved it away. I had no use for her emotions. She was nothing to me. You get stuff like that coupled right next to, was it true? If so, then Dak was truly dead like my parents, like my brother Barafin. Had I had a chance to say goodbye to Dak, had we fought side by side until the end, I would never know. My axilla had been collected before my death, so the memories of my last moments with Dak did not exist. So it's her mourning her own death, which she will never get to experience. Yeah. That's some deep, heavy, beautiful shit.
Absolutely. Yep. And I'm actually going to correct myself a little bit as well, because at this point, the axilla is... Aldrea is a tragic character. For a lot of reasons, but it's her character is established as, arrogant Andalite, sort of the manipulative and really the more kind of malicious and ruthless side of the Andalites as she manipulates Dak in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles and all of that. But it's her tragedy in this case comes because when you think about it, I haven't mapped out the exact timeline or anything, but really at this point in her life, she's really only been a resistance fighter for a few years. So her death, I believe, by her perspective, takes place only a few years after the events of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. So to her own perspective, she is not an old woman. She's still sort of just a 20-something sort of freedom fighter. Obviously her experience fighting this really intense, uncertain guerrilla warfare is sort of the first layer of things that really ages her and gives her this world weariness. But then we actually see that unfold a second time, a second layer, as, like Tyler was saying, she's processing the reality of her own death and her own displacement in time and space.
And the part, as Aldrea's story in this book goes, which I'm sure we'll cover more in depth, the death and the sadness keep coming, because in this chapter it's like, oh, Dak is gone, just like my brother, oh, everything's gone. And then later in the book it's, my son is gone. I remember him on my belly as we swung from tree to tree, and he's gone now too. And it's just
and she's like, okay, at least the revolution succeeded. At least we did something.
Right.
Actually, no, you failed, and you died, and really nothing happened.
Hot take: without Aldrea, I don't think there would be resistance Hork-Bajir.
Sure.
Yeah, she corrupted Dak Hemi. Sure, she corrupted him. She also gave them the only means of defense they had.
Her presence was the act that allowed all the pieces to come together, for sure.
Is she seeing that though? Like,
no.
Us as the omnipotent reader, like, we kind of see it. But
no, we see it. She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that, but like,
as individuals can we ever know our own context in history? We can't.
Totally. But like, I'm just thinking from her perspective, she's brought into existence because her entire race has been enslaved. And her granddaughter brought her out of hell to say, hey, we need guns because the thing that started with you is still going on.
You fucked it up. We need your guns to finish it.
Like, it's like bringing your grandparents out of the void, and, the earth is 10 degrees hotter and everything's on fire and everyone's dying. and directly caused by something you did slightly. Right?
And I want to say as well that, like, this book is like really, really great in that it's the benefit, right, of a long running, serial narrative, with lots of callbacks and everything. But like, you can fit so much nuance in a pretty short amount of space because of the reader's familiarity with previous, emotional beats. And one of my favorite moments in the whole book is, immediately after that moment where, like you said, Aldrea's icicle is reflecting on the fact that she is dead, like her brother, like her family, is that she looks again at her great granddaughter, at Toby. And, at this point, she and Cassie have sort of figured out their mental link, and they are able to communicate in real time with each other. And so it goes, through my despair, I felt a tiny bubble of something that could have been joy. Ask her if she's different, I told Cassie. A smile spread across Toby's face when she heard the question. Yes, great-grandmother, I am different. I am different, as Dak Hemi was different. And so just that great moment that allows Aldrea to anchor herself in the here and now and sort of stop the spiral of despair and existential sort of dread there.
I mean, it's like you look in a photo album and you see that your smile is exactly like your great grandfather's smile. And it's like, I don't think there's an afterlife, but there's that bit of that person touching me from beyond a time I could ever understand.
Yeah. And you turn the page on that photo album and it's actually him in a clan outfit. Man, this makes me feel uncomfortable.
I told you not to mention my family's clan association. Good God. All right, here comes the real Watto impression.
The arm quickly outlined his plan for Aldrea.
I mean, like, well, here's the real secret about this book is that the things that we've been talking about, that's the plot. The actual like adventure that happens here is a vehicle for the emotional adventure that we're here for.
Which is what makes a great fucking Animorphs book.
And and the reason I was excited to come on and do this one in particular, I mean, I love the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. Like, the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is my favorite thing in the whole Animorphs collection. So the fact that we get another little piece of that, another taste of that with book 34, Aldrea comes back, the Hork-Bajir homeworld comes back, and we get to sort of look at all of these topics through the lens of our pals, the Animorphs, and that's just like really cool. But I was rereading in preparation for the episode. I just went back and I reread like, you know, from 30 up through 34, and like this cluster of books is a real fucking, you know, 10-hit combo of just like existential issue after existential issue after existential issue.
This is one of the heavier bits of this series, this run.
What if there's evil you?
Yeah.
That could happen.
What if there's evil you? What if you are tortured past the brink of sanity, you know?
Well, that one.
What if your mom trips you downtown?
Yeah, exactly. What if your mom trips you downtown? Like, what if you have to fucking do a Rube Goldberg gaslight on your mom to kill her, you know?
Yeah, what if your brother steals a Nazi knife and gets his leg broken by a whale?
But yeah, and so this is Cassie's turn to have her own unique existential experience, and it's really, they did not pace out these really heavy topics. It feels intentional that we get every member of the gang dealing with like just a real, you know, worldview shattering existential, you know, fuck fest.
And next up, we got Marco with a poodle. So
I'm looking forward to that one. I have no idea.
Don't. It doesn't matter.
It's okay though, because you know what? I've come to a realization that I feel bad about the Hork-Bajir. We're all fans of the Hork-Bajir here, right?
Yeah, big time.
Oh, absolutely.
What's their motto? What do they say?
Free or die.
Free or die.
Free or die. And the Arn have come down, and they've come down like, listen, we have this thing that will prevent a terrible disease. It's free. We'll give it to you.
I know what you're doing.
It's just one. You know, it's just 1 to 2 jabs. And
all right, Max Titters with his 3.
All I'm saying is that the Hork-Bajir are like the idealized American spirit. Like I'm reading this section. I'm like, this reads like it was just post 9/11. Because we must be a free people, great-grandmother, so our freedom here, in this valley, on this planet, has been bought and paid for by these humans, our friends. But freedom cannot be given. It must be taken and held and defended. Our freedom has to be our own creation.
I will not wear this mask.
Right.
You will not muzzle me.
Are you a sheep? Live free or die. And this is like in context that Toby's trying to convince Aldrea to go on this mission to get the guns, and she's like,
Aldrea's like, I hate the Arn.
I hate the Arn.
Andalites are pieces of shit too, by the way. And Axe is like, man, fuck you, lady.
Yeah. But you know, honestly, the Axe. So there's a little bit of beef between Axe and Aldrea. Axe says like, hey, you've abandoned your Andalitality.
Yeah, and Aldrea's like, you abandoned your Andalitality, fucking smug bitch.
She's right.
Warmonger piece of shit.
The interesting thing, though, is that, like, Axe is not like, you are a race traitor. Axe says, you are still my race, you just don't want to admit it. Like,
right.
Axe is keeping her as part of the in-group and saying, stop pretending, rather than disavowing her as an Andalite.
Yeah, and I really disliked Axe in this book because if anyone could understand Ciro and what Ciro did, it should be fucking Axe.
Yeah, and I think that I agree that Axe is probably I would not have written Axe this way, you know, if I were to write Animorphs number 34, The Prophecy. But
what's the fucking prophecy, by the way?
We'll get to it.
Will we?
Yeah, we'll know when we see it.
I feel like the title is I feel like the title is sort of a whiff, but yeah. So Axe in this book is very much goody two shoes, Boy Scout, Andalite honor Axe, and does not dwell on a lot of his own lived experience for the last 30 some odd books.
Yeah, and like there are a couple like B and C plots alongside this that were just either abandoned or quickly, brushed to the side because there was this bigger, better story with Andrea and her coming to terms with her life and death. One of those is the Axe story, the Axe and Andrea story, right?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it's like elves and dwarves. They don't like each other, but they might become friends on this adventure, and they do. And really, there might be some insights there, but it's never really explored.
Well, I mean, it takes up as much air in this book as it needs to. It's a fun side to this heavy shit that they're shoveling down our throat.
Yeah.
They are forcing this vaccine down our throats.
Free or die. But there's also this other plot that kind of gets brought up briefly. Because when they're about to do hold on, let me look up the name of this procedure. Wait, Ty, do you know it?
The ataxalacal.
The ataxalacal, that's right. They all Cassie asks this important question, which is, hey, can I just kick the ghost out when we're done?
Yep.
And Aaron's like, well, yeah, but
we don't quite know.
Yeah, be like, well,
well,
there's probably some way to do it,
Right.
Yeah.
The atalaxal works in theory. In theory.
Right. And so, there's this lingering thing. Wait, what if this dead ghost maybe wants to live again?
Yeah, will I ever be able to go back to being just Cassie if the icicle of Aldrea decides to take up permanent residence in my ego?
Right, which is terrifying. Because,
Terrifying.
The scariest zombie movie, and I stand by this, even though it's kind of a comedy, is Return of the Living Dead. Because those zombies talk, and they say, it hurts to be dead. And, what if it really hurts to be a ghost? And the last thing you want to do is be dead.
The pain.
What about the pain?
The pain of being dead.
Hurts to be dead.
And I'm now inside of this, young body. I still have a whole life ahead of me. I ain't leaving. I'm staying right there. I'll yerk brain this person. Why not?
Yeah, here Nate is saying that he will abuse the body of a young woman of color.
Tell it hurts to be dead. It hurts to be dead.
I'm just trying to high road you like you always high road me. Why do you have a container of food seasoning on your computer desk? Just cut this.
Okay, 2 reasons. One,
I see it. I can tell it's Trader Joe's.
One, I bring a little plate of veggies and put them on there. And sometimes I just get mouth bored, and just put some seasoning in my mouth.
Bored.
That's really, really bizarre. I've never heard mouth board before. That's
it's flavor.
Just
a
little bit of flavor to liven up existence.
It's fun dip, but not sweet, just a little.
I guess I can kind of get that because kids really like Lucas or whatever, lime salt, sour lime salt. But I can't imagine doing that with fucking Tony Cachere's, fucking.
Yeah, what kind have we got here?
It is lime salt. So.
Chili lime.
I'm just saying, they're onto something. It's good.
Okay, all right.
I'll just keep this right here.
I might. If I get mouth bored later, I might just dip my finger in.
You want a little bit? Your mouth bored right now?
Yeah, here, give me. Here we go.
Dust.
There's not. Oh, hello. Should I snort it?
No, lick it.
I can't. I can't do it. That's good. Oh man, you shouldn't mainline that.
Is your mouth bored now?
Nope. Look at my hand.
Yes.
Animorphing time. We can't help if you're mouth bored, but we can help if you're ear bored.
Yep, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Ears. We're getting those ears.
Chili lime salt for them ears.
This episode's sponsored by Trader Joe's Chili Lime Seasoning.
Speaking of, you should go to bluechew.com/animorphintime for free shipping on dick pills.
I'm telling you, we can get Blue Chew. If we want to monetize, it's right there.
Blue Chew, okay. Audible. Wait, audible.com. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so live free or die.
Live free or die, but I do want to note as well that the Hork-Bajir do pretty easily acquiesce to having their genetic samples taken.
Oh yeah, they're just like, whatever.
They're like, yeah, just take our blood. We don't have a comprehension of DNA.
All it takes is a strong leader.
And in this case, that's Toby.
Yeah.
And Toby's like, yeah, take our blood. Who cares? Have some cum too. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll do whatever, man. We need those guns, and we need clone army.
Yeah. So the plan is this: the Chi will cover for the Animorphs as they often do,
like the last Starfighter.
Yep.
Oh,
the
plan. Let's back up because we missed the important detail, which is Aldrea's ghost is going to lead them to a cache of weapons. We've been dancing around it a little bit, but our pals, the Animorphs, are getting on an alien spaceship to fly through zero space to actually physically visit the Hork-Bajir planet.
Yep.
Boring. Listen, we've been there like tons of times.
We've been there tons of times. We need the ghost of Aldrea to find the quest destination. And so in preparation for our intergalactic voyage, we call on our friends the Chi.
Yep, Eric King shows up and he's like, man, when I was taking care of FDR, I cleaned all kinds of houses. Don't worry about it, Marco. And Marco's like, hey, can you get me laid while I'm gone?
Don't get laid. Get me laid.
Yeah, I love that.
Don't fuck her. I'm going to fuck her. You just get her ready to fuck me.
Marco is a real Revenge of the Nerd.
Yeah.
He is a booger. No, Booger was the good one.
What's Booger? I don't know. I actually have not seen him.
Curtis Armstrong, great actor. Well, not a great actor, but he's Booger.
I'm still just so sad that Marco cut his hair. But short hair Marco is the inferior Marco.
Agreed. Long hair Marco or bust.
Yeah.
No, he should shave it.
Whoa.
Go bald.
Nope.
Go bald. Go home. Hope he's smooth
I was
as an
going
egg.
to say something that's not really my place to say, but. Yeah, long hair Marco is the correct Marco.
We love a long-haired Marco, don't we, folks?
Really hides the height. You just kind of get that volume.
Exactly.
You know?
The feathered locks. You know.
Yeah. Or you could just do it straight up like Kid and Play. It's fun.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And so they hop in the Arn's Yerk bug ship because he stole a bug ship.
He's crafty.
And they hit Z space.
Pop in that Z space.
I'm gonna reverse the chronology for a little bit. We do have a good little moment where Cassie and Aldrea are still learning to figure out each other's mental boundaries.
Yep,
and
that's true.
We get our second.
He's going back for more seasoning.
Oh, chili lime, baby.
You didn't know how mouthward you were till I said something, huh?
Ooh. Chili lime.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue.
Just how chili complements lime. Cassie and Aldrea are learning to season each other's minds with their presence, and they learn how to meld a little better.
It's a give and take.
Become more than the sum of their parts. And this is the second time that's sort of the reinforcement of the idea. Cassie's pretty good at morphing. Mm-hmm. And who should comment on it but, one of the original Andalite morphers, Aldrea. Yep. She's like, hey, you're pretty good at this whole morphing thing. And Cassie's like, oh, yeah, I guess I like animals. Hee hee. Like, Cassie sort of brushes it off.
So I know that's been established already by Jake that Animorphs is short for animal morpher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm now realizing that could also be Andalite morpher.
Ooh.
I have been a fan of these books since a child, and I hadn't put that together.
I'm just thinking, wait, hold on. They invented it.
Except it would be Animorphs.
Animorphs.
Andmorphs.
Listen, sometimes you inject a noun to really not a noun, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no,
I'm an English major.
Do your own work on my joke.
I'll buy it. Whether you are an animal or an Andalite, if you morph, you're an Animorph.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them's the rules.
Andalite morpher. Sorry to interrupt your very good point.
No, yeah, so
Drew's making a point, a salient, important point to the book, and Nate says Andalite morpher. Great, we're good at this. Just so good.
I had never actually considered that combination of words either, though, so I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it.
I'm gonna have more chili lime.
Yeah, see, when your mouth gets excited, your brain gets excited. Don't pour it down. Don't have a bunch of it.
I did it.
Yeah, but the only reason I bring up that little detour before we get back on the spaceship is just that
it is important later.
It is important. The coolest, the grand action set piece of this book is a really fucking bizarro sequence, and
I'm so excited.
It's important for you, the reader, to be reminded Cassie's a really pretty good morpher.
Yeah, and Aldrea even says she's better at morphing than I was.
Yeah, and we're assuming that Andrea was very good at morphing, right? Like
she's so good at it, she just did it and never stopped.
The final thing I'll say is that Cassie has like a couple, like kind of a 1-2 punch. She's like, Jake has led us on more missions than you ever went on with Dak. And also, we're only a little younger than you were when you came to the Hork-Bajir planet. So Cassie is respectful, and Cassie is obviously like a little reverent of Aldrea's depth of emotion and experience, but she's not afraid to just say like, "Hey, this is our game now.
Yeah.
You know, we're the ones running this."
Listen, it's not Andalite morphers anymore. It's animal morphers.
The game's changed.
The game's changed.
War has changed.
But the more war changes,
the more it stays the same. And let's go to Z-Space.
And with that,
we gotta get to that
Z-Space.
dang Z-Space.
And
Pop
man,
into Z-Space.
Z-Space is just this big blank white expanse. It sure would be a shame if I were
like Oregon
to project, you know, the last moment I remember before my untimely death with my dead Hork-Bajir husband. But that's exactly what Aldrea does. We have this great
Aldrea has a
extended point of
nightmare
view chapter. She has a nightmare.
Ooh. And it's
she's remembering her treehouse with her loving husband, the Hork-Bajir, Dakhemi the Seer, and she's reminiscing on all of the ways that they had avoided capture, all of that. And then this is only like a 2 or 3 page point of view chapter, this nightmare sequence. But Aldrea gets the vision that she imagines herself holding her infant Hork-Bajir son, Ciro, named for her father, the Fool. And the homunculus of her baby son starts speaking to her, giving voice to all of her deepest fears and insecurities.
I mean, like, what else are you going to dream when you're dead? Except for a spooky dream about your dead child.
Yeah, and then I actually bookmarked, this is the only bookmark I made in preparation for this episode, but the end of this nightmare sequence, we get Aldrea reflecting on sort of her nightmare, and so she said, "It's okay, Jake," Cassie said. "She just had a nightmare." Aldrea's point of view. Ciro, dead after a life as a Yeerk host. Dak, dead, I knew not how. All of them, all our brave soldiers, all gone. A nightmare, a dream of death from a person already dead.
It's dark.
Yeah, and that's like that last little line, I think, is like sort of the seed, the core of kind of Aldrea's, emotional weight in this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very beautiful little vignette that a child's book does not deserve.
Yeah. I actually I didn't really know how to fit it in earlier, but my mind immediately went to this moment when we were talking earlier about the deaths from the lack of ICU beds that we were talking about, the COVID pandemic, and the tragedy of dying without even being helped, and just so a dream of death from a person already dead it has this sort of weight it has this sort of like emotional sort of feeling as you think of when you think of like World War I, like dying in the trenches with like mustard gas filling your lungs, or like dying as Berlin is like firebombed, just dying in a war zone, or dying in the midst of a tragedy that's already larger than you can imagine.
Yep, you can only watch and you just die. I don't think I've mentioned this, but I think that, and I've expressed this to Tyler, and he better do it.
Oh boy, I'll do it right now.
If I get COVID real bad, say, and
I did,
yeah, okay, but mine's worse. Oh no, I'm dying, Tyler.
Nate, you don't always have to one-up Tyler, okay?
No,
your COVID
mine's
doesn't
better.
have to be worse, okay?
Mine's better. My COVID's gonna be worse, and my death is gonna be better because Tyler, I want you to dress up as the devil.
Okay.
And I want you to show up, and I'm delirious, and I'm dying, and I want you to show up and say, "I've come to get you, Nate."
Okay.
Because like I want to be so delirious, and I want you to like get me high on acid. Really give me some nice psychedelics.
I can do that.
And send me straight to hell. Because like because like the one great mystery in life is death.
Yeah.
We don't know. Nobody knows, except for the people who have already been dead. And like it's carefully like skirted around with like Andrea because no, she's not actually a ghost. They sci-fi it away in that like it's recorded memories.
Recorded memories in a bottle.
Yeah, it's actually just she turned her brain into a dang computer.
Yeah, it's a quick save. They put a quick save into a bottle and then implanted it into Cassie's head.
Right, and like these little moments are the closest that we get to talking about death and what it means to be dead after you're dead.
Yeah, the finality of it.
Yeah, but this isn't the finality, and she's still. It's worse because it's like she's been given this terminal illness. She knows that she's already dead. You can't stop from dying then. There's no turning that one back, right? So like like she's facing her mortality right now, and she's having nightmares about it, right? Your last moments in this like little bit of earth that you managed to luck into, but through a weird ghost ritual, are just nightmares of your dead child speaking to you.
Yeah.
So that's why she's screaming.
So yeah, our pals the Animorphs are in a spaceship. And their friend Cassie starts screaming with the voice of a dead alien.
Yep. And it's okay, though. Jake's just like, listen, Cassie, it's okay. It was just a nightmare. Have some nutrition pellets.
Yeah, have another health pellets.
have some more health pellets.
They're very good. Tobias loves them.
Tobias still is a bird, by the way.
Yeah, Tobias still a bird.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're in the ship for 3 days. No entertainment.
Just chatting amongst, like, Cassie getting to know Aldrea letting her wall down a little bit, but not too much. Axe talking to the Arn being like, fuck off, I'm driving.
And you know what? Shredder fire. Shredder. Wait, that's not Dracon.
I mean, they pop out of Z-space, immediately fired upon.
Dang. Shredder fire.
Shredder fire.
The nicer way to die.
Yeah.
Or when the villain from Ninja Turtles dresses real nice.
Tonight we dine on Arn soup. And so there's this Andalite chip because they fire shredders.
Yeah.
Again, I love that little bit of detail about the shredder really gets you right away. The Dracon beam.
The Dracon beam is specifically engineered to be just a little more painful and a little slower.
Right. Which it seems like a disadvantage if it's slower. But anyways, but the pain's worth it.
Always is, baby. Yeah, always is.
They suddenly enter a cool little sci-fi, dogfight moment in outer space.
I hear that rolling helps. Try rolling.
Yeah, doing a barrel roll.
It is a good trick. It's a great trick. They're sort of in a too many cooks situation. Honestly, the entire space dogfight sequence, I was imagining, like the what's that like funny black and white slapstick music,
Yakety sax?
Yakety sax. I imagine sort of yakety sax playing during this dogfight sequence. Because
it's like you have one old man in the corner with a piano drum, horn machine.
The Andalites chase the Animorphs.
Yeah.
Then the Animorphs chase the Andalites. The Yeerks show up. They're chasing each other.
Yeah.
It's a hard day's night. They hide in the phone booth.
Yeah. Your classic Scooby-Doo too many doors situation.
Yeah.
But
mostly unimportant. It's an action scene.
But you also have all of the Animorphs yelling at each other like what to do. Like, should we kill him? No, don't kill him. That's an Andalite. Well, he's gonna kill us. Well, maybe almost kill him. So it's like,
yeah.
Andrea was gonna kill him.
Yeah, Aldrea wanted to kill him, but they come up with a plan to save him and kill off the Yeerks.
Yeah.
And they made it.
And they make it to the Hork-Butcher homeworld.
Yeah.
To find that it has been, to quote Aldrea, raped and despoiled. Which was a quote that I wrote because, goddamn, you're putting that in a book for 10-year-olds.
Well, that was the language of the time. Because, you never just like, ruin the planet, you always rape the planet.
Yeah,
it's never like, you know, because like the context of rape is like forcefully on purpose, and it's like and like
The rape of
whatever.
murder.
Yeah.
It's what they said at the time, and now we don't say that anymore.
Yeah, true.
I read that, and it's vivid imagery. It's hurtful imagery, and what they've done to the planet, it's completely Yerk terraformed.
Yeah, it's a violation. But yeah, so we get a reminder for those that do not remember, the Hork-Bajir planet at one point in the past had its own moon come crashing down on it. And it split the planet open like a ripe fruit, and so the planet is cracked open. You can peer down into the molten core, and those deep fissures and valleys that were formed in the cracks are where the Arn planted trees to reconstitute the atmosphere, and where the Hork-Bajir live in the deep valleys.
So, I agree. The Arn are Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty close.
Except like smarter. The Arn are smarter than Elon Musk.
The Arn have skills. Elon Musk did PayPal.
He paid someone to build a shitty robot.
Oh, here we go. I found it. So the Arn Q-Man, the Arn, Queef, Virginia, is giving kind of a little history lesson, a little biology lesson on the trees and everything, and all of a sudden Cassie says, "Aldrea, are you all right?" Cassie asked softly. "Turn away," I begged. I hated the weakness in my voice, but I couldn't bear to look anymore. "Turn our eyes away." She did, but then she looked again, and I looked too, because even now, scarred and blasted, raped and despoiled, it was my home.
And careful readers will see the correlation between what Nate said and the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. Nate, you made a point that Cassie is Aldrea, and Aldrea is old Cassie. And in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, Dak Hami tries to shield Aldrea from looking at the charred corpses of her family, but she looked anyway.
Yeah.
Aldrea in this moment relents, does not want to see, but Cassie sees, and then Aldrea has to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
True.
Were you going to say it?
No, I was actually, I thought I had a good point, but yeah, that's fine.
No, go ahead. I don't need to quote George Lucas in this book.
My thing is, like, let the person look. Like, I would want to look. Like, let's say it's not something, because I guess I just don't have a place that I associate with love and warmth.
Well, I mean, it's
but like, you know, if I saw, like, say a beloved pet has been horribly mangled, you know, and they're like, "Oh, don't look. Sorry, it's too hurtful for you. Don't look at this." I would need to look, right? And I think everyone has that urge to look because they need confirmation. Visual confirmation that the thing has happened.
I mean, yes and no. Some people have to look, and some people genuinely can't look.
Yeah. Well,
and so both I think are valid reactions to it.
And
no, one's right.
Aldrea is a character who does have both reactions. When her family was killed in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, Dak tries to shield her, but she looks anyway on the wreckage of her home and the burning corpses of her family. And now this time, she looks, and she's the one that has to turn away. She says, "Cassie, don't make me look." She's begging Cassie, as the body that she's residing in, to not have her forced to look upon this. So it becomes too much for her, and she has sort of run out of the capacity to process that grief in that moment.
More deep ass shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's just go get some guns, you guys.
Yeah. And so they get out on the surface of the planet, and they make their way down to the Arn, you know, Valley City. You know, their Pueblo hut built into the cliff face.
And the Arn's like, well, yeah, everything's still beautiful, but also destroyed. The Yerks actually used us as target practice.
Yeah, you know, fun little fact about us: after we weakened our brain stems to not accept a Yerk host, they just decided to kill us for funsies.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, they get down there, and so that's when we also they're down in the bowels of the planet, prepping their little strike force to go out and find the weapons. And then Aldrea drops a bomb. She says, "Oops, guys, I may not actually know where the weapons are after all. Sorry about that." And everyone is understandably pissed. It's like,
what?
You couldn't have mentioned this before we hopped on the spaceship and, everything there. And
it's a nice little narrative knife that ratchets up the tension in the story, because they're gonna find the guns, and it's going to work out, whatever. But this little complication is a complication and conflict of character in Aldrea, which is a really beautiful little touch.
Sure, it brings up the question: was this on purpose?
Right?
Did she forget to mention this, or did she trick them into going to this planet? And
Aldrea reasserts herself as a presence who can't necessarily be trusted, and every sort of Animorph kind of distrusts her for a different reason. And the narrative device that is used to really drive that home is the first time we have where Aldrea's mind forcibly takes over Cassie's body.
Get out of my mind, liquid.
And
my hand.
So
get out of my mind, liquid.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
We're big Metal Gear Solid lovers, especially the second one.
I can't stop it because, honestly, the idea of something taking over your body sucks.
Yeah,
nobody wants that. It's the whole point of the Yerks. That's why they suck, is because they take over your body.
Exactly.
You lose control.
Aldrea, in this moment, briefly, and it's almost sort of, we get the sense that Aldrea is not even doing it intentionally, but just is frozen with embarrassment and with fear and with everything. But Cassie realizes through their emotional bond that Aldrea has been deceiving them or misleading them as to her understanding. Yep. Aldrea's mind freezes up, which forcibly causes Cassie to free up until Cassie fights through it and demands, "Let me talk." Aldrea says, "I released my hold, shocked at my own behavior. I hadn't meant to stop her. I hadn't meant to battle for control. A mistake. I'd had no time to think it through. Everyone was staring at me, all but the Arn, who was busy elsewhere." "Don't ever do that again, Aldrea," Cassie said. Don't ever fight me for control again." And so we get... That's a moment.
A little whoopsie.
It's a little oopsie whoopsie, when you accidentally mind puppet, your host body. But yeah, Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's a beautiful red herring, because you think that this book is going to be Cassie having to fight for her own body back, but we already had that book, and this is fucking Animorphs. And it is much darker and much sadder than Cassie can't control her body.
Yeah.
Well, and it's more realistic that Andrea accidentally takes over Cassie, because she's not malicious. She's a good character.
Yeah.
Right? she wouldn't do that on purpose. But she might do it on, say, accident.
Yeah, a lesser book would have had Aldrea be the villain who just takes over and controls Cassie.
Yeah. You don't mean to eat your friend in an attic. You just happen to be bitten by a zombie, and you're
love
real
Return of the Living Dead so much.
It's because that's kind of what it is. You're fighting against it, but something's drawing you into the primal urge of survival.
It's the delicious brains.
Send more.
And it's another wrinkle.
Paramedics.
It's another wrinkle in Aldrea's sort of characterization, because we know that she has been the sort of typical Andalite to manipulate and to deceive, and the comparison that gets brought up by Dakhami, her own lover and best friend, is that the Andalites and the Yerks are alike in a lot of ways. And so here we have Aldrea, almost without meaning to, become a Yerk for a brief moment and fight Cassie for control of her own body. And it allows for another nice little Cassie moment as well, because this becomes the third time when Cassie says to Aldrea, like, you know, she asserts herself and she says, don't do this. Don't underestimate us. Don't ever stop me from being me.
Great little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Like, let's have a break. It's been too stressful. It's been too stressful talking about all this possession and death and just murder of a planet.
Yeah.
Instead, let's go run with the hoodoo, baby.
The Chadoo.
The Chadoo.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's go run with the Chadoo. You know, let's frolic and be free.
Yeah, they morph Hork-Bajir.
Mm-hmm.
They're having a fun time swinging.
A fun run 'em up.
And it's a beautiful, nice little moment where Aldrea gets to see her great-granddaughter swinging on her home planet.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful little vignette.
She's never been able to do that. Like with the weak trees that we have on Earth, like those things are no good for sailing across a mighty planet.
Right.
It's like a captured monkey who's been released into the wild for the first time, is finally be able to roam and be free.
This book is basically the hospice of Aldrea, where the inevitability of death is coming.
That's true.
So you try and fill those last few moments
with joy and familiarity.
Yeah, joy, familiarity, and whatever kind of purpose you can find. It's really beautiful. I read this book and I was just in awe at how beautiful it was.
Yeah, that's a really, I hadn't actually considered that interpretation of it, but yeah, Aldrea is in hospice in the body of Cassie morphed as a Hork-Bajir. Yeah,
that's fine. It's a nice, happy little moment that we get. It's the Animorphs' reprieve of pleasure right before some god awful shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
And Aldrea says, "I think I know where the guns are. It's probably in mine and Dak's fuckhole.
Yeah,
let's go there."
Hold on, wait. Not the fuckhole.
It's a fuckhole.
It's a smash pad. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's just like a tree where they carved their names in.
With a big hollow interior where they often would hide away behind a hidden door.
Yeah, it's a fuckhole, a smash pad.
No, it's a trunk. They're not doing it.
It's big. What are you talking about? It's not a locker, okay?
No, they go in there and make woo.
Would you stop calling it that? For fuck, make woo.
Yeah. Deep embrace.
No.
But yeah, and it's.
But anyways, they get their smash on in there. They're really smash mouth. That's probably where they hid the guns.
There is a good moment here, I think, where Cassie, out of all of them, she asserts herself, but also she is the most trusting of Aldrea, just through their natural emotional link. And one of the things that they had, practiced back on Earth before the adventure was just Aldrea getting a sense of how it feels to morph in Cassie's body. The actual mechanical reality of them sharing a body that may need to engage in battle. And so when it comes time to traverse the trees, have this beautiful little moment, Cassie allows Aldrea to control the morph fully. And so Cassie is a passenger for Aldrea's, nice kind of flying free last hurrah moment.
Yeah, it's really, really great acceptance stuff, like giving over of yourself to someone who needs you. That's a beautiful feeling, and it translates very well in this book.
Now it's time for guns.
Frankie, blow this cocksucker's head off. Ooh, guns.
Come on, Sal. Tigers are playing tonight. I never miss a game.
Come on, Sal. Tigers playing tonight.
Last thing before guns, right before they reach the guns, it does turn back somber. So Cassie has a realization as Aldrea is frolicking in the trees with her great-granddaughter. Cassie realizes the implications of the psychic icicle, the ghost soul within her. And she realizes that Aldrea being in control of what is at this point her native comfortable body in the form of a Hork-Bajir, the form with which her soul most readily identifies, she realizes that this presence, this sentient mind of Aldrea is a life force, is a unique living entity in its own form. And then Cassie has this moment where like, fuck, was I going to be the one to kill Aldrea Iskelion Fallen?
Yep.
The realization took my breath away. Aldrea felt my emotions. What is the matter? She asked. I couldn't say. What could I say? If I realized before I accepted the icicle, I'd have never agreed to go along. It was impossible, immoral. Aldrea was alive now, and if she died again, if she ceased to exist, it would be from my own selfishness. And so she realizes that after the mission is all said and done, even if there is some way to get the icicle out of her brain, doing that constitutes killing a sentient life force.
Cassie's fatal flaw. Right? Because
she could just do surgery on her brain and take it out.
She's very good at it.
Yeah.
But like her fatal flaw, and you can see it in the way that she talks about
her
it,
empathy.
is I'm being selfish by taking my life back. Right? Because she's not thinking of herself. She never thinks of herself. She only thinks of others, and that's how she experiences the world, through the eyes of others. So, through the eyes of Andrea, she realizes, I have to kill this person. I'm being so selfish. This is fucked up. We know better because we are not Cassie. She deserves better, but she always has this reaction every time.
Yeah.
I had to kill that Hork-Bajir. That was messed up. I'll just go die. I'll just become a butterfly. I'll just go.
I guess there is kind of also like sort of a B plot, or even like a B emotional thread through the book, which is Cassie is constantly doubting herself as to why she was chosen over Rachel or over Toby. Why was she the vessel? Why does she have the icicle? And
you can guilt Cassie. You can guilt her into giving your body.
In this moment of realization as to, I can't bring myself to kill the living spirit of Aldrea, she has this paranoid little mind worm into where it's like, I was picked because she knew I would be too weak to kick her out of my consciousness.
And that's Cassie's opinion.
Yeah.
I disagree completely.
Of course.
I think if she had gone to Toby would never kick her out. Toby doesn't have the strength to kick her out because it's your great grandma. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
She goes to Rachel. Rachel does not have the empathy to allow Aldrea any sense of freedom.
Yeah.
She's all brawn. Cassie has both.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good speech that addresses this later.
Yeah, and we the reader know that there must be some reason other than Cassie's own inferiority complex as to why she was chosen for this important role. The reader knows.
Unless you're an asshole. Maybe you're an asshole. Maybe you're like, you know what? Cassie does kind of suck.
Cassie, you suck. She's totally going to take up residence in your brain.
She has the wolf. It's the weakest one.
You can't even leave a heart on your homework for your boyfriend. You suck, you weak-ass bitch.
Cassie, you coward. Say it loud and say it proud.
You can't even live out loud. Who are you? Nate.
That's not what I said.
I know. Nate. You can have some of that chili you've got in your hand. He's going for it. He's going back for more.
Oh, he's got more.
When you were making your point, Drew, I was trying so hard not to laugh because I looked at Nate and I saw the jar in his hand and he started to laugh. So I just faced forward.
I would never.
But yeah,
Jesus.
It's with this sobering realization that Aldrea's life as a living person, more or less, is within Cassie's purview to end or to allow to go on living. They arrive at the smash pad where the weapons are stashed away. And surprise, surprise, the smash pad is located directly underneath the biggest ever yerk pool.
Oh, gross.
They hollowed out Godtree and made it a yerk pool.
You ever sleep on that mattress? You know what's going on that mattress.
Awa got hollowed out and made a yerk pool. Did we make this joke in Hork-Bajir Chronicles?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
I mean,
it is
still
just
Awa. It's the same planet,
Yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah.
And let's just go right to their plan.
Yeah.
It's a great plan.
It's
it's a plan that always works.
It's the Cassie plan. It's you have a problem, you drop a whale on it.
I mean, like whales are big. You can do a lot with a whale.
So yeah, let me go through the finer points of this plan. Cassie turns into an osprey, eats her friends. Not
all the way.
Not eats. She
swallows.
puts her friends as bugs in her mouth.
Gross.
Flies up very high in the sky.
Okay.
Starts demorphing and falling.
Okay.
While she's mid-demorph to human, she starts morphing whale because she's the best morpher.
Okay.
Plus, they don't want the Yerks on the Hork-Bajir planet to know that a human was there. So there's a falling osprey, whale, human girl amalgamation with 5 friends in her mouth dropping right for the Yerk pool.
You ever think something that you shouldn't say?
Yeah, say it. I say it all the time on this podcast.
This is Animorphing time, where we think it and say it.
I'll do the Watto.
No, like
again.
So here's what I was thinking. Like, okay, like the challenging part here isn't necessarily like the multiple morphs. She's done that before. The challenging part is to morph with your friends in your mouth. Like you can't chew. You can't. You got to do 2 things at once. 2 very complicated things at once. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I know this? Well, sometimes, when it's a busy work day, I take a big bite of a protein bar. Oh no, I just had some coffee. I need to go to the bathroom. Take a dump. Still have this big bite of protein bar. So I'm chewing and taking a dump at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. It's a bit
that
complicated.
kind of multitasking that Cassie now faces.
Right.
That's what you thought was too far to say? Was that you admit to eating while pooping? I do that all the time.
Really? I thought I was the only one.
If I'm going to poop, it'll probably be a long time I'll be in there. I take a popsicle.
I mean, a popsicle? I mean, popsicle is too challenging.
What are you talking? What?
A popsicle isn't even food. You don't have to think about eating it.
Well, it's sticky. Like
So's my poop.
Yeah, exactly. If there's particles in the air, poop particles.
There are poop particles. Who cares?
But my mouth is closed.
Not mine. Oh no, this said more about me than you. Uh-oh. Look, I have gone on record as being someone who wants to eat 8 Cheez-Its to keep a little Cheez-It dough ball on their cheek. I love that shit.
I saw that tweet. That was iconic.
That's what I do.
Classic Tyler.
Like, if I find Cheez-Its, you're getting 8 of them in my cheek, and I'm licking that cheese ball for 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, and I suppose that's what whales do, right? Like whales keep things in their mouth.
They do. Yeah, Jonas. What's his name?
Like Krill, a Pinocchio.
The Bible guy.
Jonah.
Jonah.
My
name is Jonas.
Jonas in the whale. Yeah,
My
that's
name
the
is Jonas. I'm sitting in a whale.
That's the what's that? The Squid and the Whale sequel about Weezer.
Yeah,
and that joke's for nobody.
I understood that joke and it wasn't for me. That's
Rivers Cuomo rubbing his cum on his locker. That's anybody.
Okay, but
animal facts. I was trying so hard.
But yeah, so in order to make this plan work, Cassie becomes an osprey. While she's falling, her osprey wings proportionally grow in size to her human body. She gets these fucking Led Zeppelin angel wings, fucking badass.
Super dope.
While she's I guess the logic of this is that she becomes fully human. She becomes fully human, but just with wings. And because she's human with wings, she can start to morph again.
Yeah.
She goes.
And Aldrea's like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. Nobody's ever morphed this badass.
She goes from angel wing Cassie into the skyfish from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
You can be my angle, or you could be my skyfish.
Or the falling whale from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she becomes a humpback whale with gigantic osprey wings and plummets into this gigantic, Olympic-sized swimming pool of a Yerk pool.
And the Hork-Bajir see her, and they start blasting. But before we get to that, we gotta do it. Folks, we gotta do it.
We gotta do it.
We gotta do... Animal
facts.
Prince Jake and Cassie, Tobias and Axe, Rachel and Margot, the bandits are here. They want to listen to animal facts. Fuck
So the animal for today is the humpback whale.
Woo!
One of my personal favorite whales. You know, if you know anything about me, it's that I have rankings of different whales.
I do know this, yes.
Number 1, humpback. Number 2, sperm.
Number 1
3
is the sperm whale because I'm a Moby Dick fan. But yeah, humpback is top 3. My third, by the way, is the orca.
Oh yeah,
I mean, those
murder,
are pretty
the murder fish.
Those are pretty normal picks, sperm whale, humpback, orca. But you don't mess with the greats.
You got to do the beluga's face though. Come on.
Belugas are cute, but I don't respect them.
Yeah, sounds like everybody I date. Go on.
So yeah, as y'all know, we're gonna do a couple of basic ones, then we're gonna get into the weird shit.
Yeah, we did send you the Divine Soup Can whale facts to let you peruse and pick and choose.
Soup Can. I'm using a few of those adapted facts for sure. Start off with the basic. Humpback is a baleen whale. It is not a toothed whale. It has no teeth. It has baleen. And, you were a kid, you probably had like a zoo books or you had like your National Geographic. Baleen is like it's like a curtain of sort of these bony, I like to imagine them as being sort of fingernail material, like keratinous, they're like brush bristles. And
yeah, maybe she's born with it.
And
maybe it's Baleen.
Maybe it's Baleen.
Maybe it's Baleen.
Thank you. That's a good wholesome joke. A first for Animorphing time.
That's the last.
That's my corner. I do the wholesome content.
Here's my favorite slur.
And so the way that a baleen whale, like a humpback, feeds is that it dives through a swarm of usually krill. And actually, a krill is a small shrimp-like crustacean. Shout out to Soup Can. I didn't know that krill were grasshopper-sized. I thought they were smaller, but that's
me too.
That's big.
Yeah.
Like a grasshopper is a sizable fucking insect. They get a big mouthful of water, and then they spit it out, and they strain it through their baleen. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That is actually really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, imagine that you were swimming around, in a like a big bowl of, cocoa pebbles, right? You open your mouth, you take a mouthful of milk and cocoa pebbles, and you spit out the milk and just swallow the pebbles. That's what's going on here.
So you're like
back in the bowl, titty liquid.
you're just like some asshole kid who's like takes a big bite.
Yeah, you do it through your teeth. It's like,
yeah, you do it through your teeth, and then you eat the ones that get caught in your teeth. Exactly.
Yep.
Humpback whales are noteworthy because out of all the whale species, they have the most complex and quote unquote famous, for lack of a better word, whale songs. So when you hear singing whales, the beautiful echoey musical sound, that's probably a humpback whale.
Or Enya.
I love Enya. Has Enya done a whale song mashup?
They were probably all whale adjacent.
Yeah. But so the exact role of whale song is not fully understood, but an interesting...
It's to show gratitude.
Yeah, that's right.
It's to summon dolphins.
To show gratitude, to summon dolphins.
We didn't forget that.
But an interesting detail about humpback whale song is that the songs are regional or social group based. So, in other words, all of the males that congregate in a certain section of ocean will all sing the same song. And as they encounter other traveling males or as they move and encounter other pods, the songs are adaptable and changeable. And so they will basically, they're doing remixes of each other's songs as they encounter other whales. It's pretty sweet.
That rules.
But then there's that whale Walt Disney, and he's just like, no, shut that down. You can't actually sample.
And then we have to get to the raunchy stuff because this is Animorphing time. So
yep,
we already talked about the sperm whale. That's done. Not what you think, guys.
What do you know about a humpback's penis? Well, I'll tell you.
Nothing.
It's 10 feet long.
Oh,
that is
that's one shack.
It's a big old penis. And
Is that wait? Hold on. Is Shaq actually 10 feet?
No, nobody's 10 feet tall. You moron.
Shaq is also like pretty small by NBA standards too. I think isn't Shaq only like 7'1" or something?
Yeah, 10 feet tall. Think people are what?
Shaq's a powerful man. I just figured he'd be tall.
But
okay, so he's like less than a shack at that penis.
A 10-foot penis comes also with a 10-foot penis bone, because pretty much all mammals, with the exception of humans and maybe a couple others, this has come up on Animal Facts before, but we always talk about penis bones.
The bones in every male human's penis.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's...
But so the technical scientific name for a penis bone is a baculum, plural bacula.
He's in Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. What else did he do?
That new NCIS.
Yeah.
Scott whalebone penis. Whale penis bone. But yeah, the not just of the humpback whale, but of many different species of whales, the penis bone is a common building material for harpoons. So when you think
makes sense.
When you think of like the indigenous tribes of the Arctic and everything, it's kind of a double fuck you, because they kill you, cut off your penis, and then use your penis to kill your friends.
Honestly, if someone's gonna kill me, please do that.
Well, and just think about the size of the spear. It's 10 feet.
I mean, yeah, it has to be big. It has to go deep to, pierce the vitals.
Yeah.
And then, we haven't forgot about the ladies. Let's hear about some whale titties.
Ooh.
Do they have a bone in them?
There's no bone, but they're internal. So they don't have any udders. Whales don't have anything like that. It's bad for water drag, hydrodynamics.
Yeah.
But there are pseudo nipples next to the genital slit on a humpback whale, and the baby whale gets on up next to that genital slit and siphons the milk out of the whale nipple. And here's an interesting fact: the edge of a whale calf's tongue is lined with petal-like extensions, flower petals, that are believed to improve suction and even serve to channel the milk towards the throat.
Holy shit.
So like how you were in middle school and you had that one weird friend who did that thing with their tongue where it looks like a clover?
Uh-huh.
That's basically what a baby whale does to get that milk.
You know what that reminds me of is mid-flight airline refuel.
Yeah.
Where there's that little nozzle.
That's a
and
good,
it's plug in a little nozzle.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, because whales, the way their mouth anatomy, they don't have muscles like we do where they can suck. Humans can puff up their cheeks and create a vacuum and suck through a straw. So the mother is actually forcibly ejecting the milk. So the mother is squeezing their mammary glands and spurting the milk out.
That one mother is,
yo, Junior, swim up to my pussy. I'm gonna squirt some milk on you.
Pretty much.
Pop. Oh, no.
If whales could
Jesus.
speak, that would be a sentence that they've said. And they produce a lot. Every day, a breastfeeding humpback produces up to 130 gallons of milk.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of krill.
That's a lot of milk, a lot of krill. And if you were to think about it in terms of, everybody loves this kind of statistics, it would only take a dozen whales a year to fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool with whale milk.
Jesus Christ.
So if you got all of the milk, that a dozen whales made in a year, that would fill an Olympic swimming pool.
I didn't even know that whales made milk until today.
They're mammals. Of course they do.
Well, I didn't think about it.
Well, sure, fair.
It's
people don't think about hedgehog milk either, But hedgehogs also make milk. Every mammal makes milk. That's a weird. That thought will haunt you in the middle of the night.
Here's the real question: would you drink that milk?
Yes.
If I had a cup of it,
in a heartbeat,
it might kill you. What if it
it wouldn't kill you, but it would make you a fat fuck, because whale milk is 45% fat.
Oh fuck!
Human milk is about 2 to 3%. For comparison.
Okay, what about make some whale butter?
So that is basically like drinking whale butter. It's already butter when it comes out, basically.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's like melted ice cream. That's
I'm gonna
delicious.
look up whale milk later and see if I can find some.
It's like chug down.
You want to go to Alaska just for reasons?
And speaking of nutrition, speaking of Alaska, I got one final fun fact here. Whale meat is among the most protein-rich of all
Ooh.
traditionally eaten animal meat. Let me, I got some statistics prepared here for you. So, for comparison, how about turkey? You think about turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Turkey is about 55% protein, 45% fat. Okay. You think about, how about salmon? Salmon is about 69% protein. Nice. And 31% fat. Thanks, y'all, for the backup on that. Chicken, 51-49. Very even mix. You think about beef. The leanest raw beef, 95% meat, 5% fat. When you count up the total calories, it's still about 67 and 33. So it's 2/3 protein, 1/3 fat. Whale meat, by comparison, 95% protein to 5% fat. Extremely protein efficient. Very, very nutritious stuff. A lot of B12, a lot of iron.
Whatever you do not tell Joe Rogan this fact. There'll be someone at that gym just looking at those whales and it's like, you know what? I'm looking to bulk up, clean bulk,
and so
whale bulk.
And I mean, of course, a whale is an animal that has different cuts of meat. The most highly regarded is the tail meat, the tail section, and that is very high in fat comparatively. But whale hunting for subsistence is traditional among a variety of different native and aboriginal cultures within the Arctic Circle, populations in Greenland, Russia, the Chukotka Peninsula, which is right across the Bering Strait from Alaska, and then Alaska itself, of course, is where those traditions are maintained. And yeah, I just bring this up because I think that there is a tendency among sort of overly opinionated progressive types, you know, your vegans, your animal rights activists, all of that, you know, to group any sort of hunting or animal harvesting as inherently exploitative. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that native and indigenous cultures really are experts in sustainable, respectful, and humane, you know, ecological harvesting. And I think that it's, you know, something like a whale hunt, you know, lumping in something like a whale hunt, which happens 2 or 3 times a year for the sustenance of a community, you know, of just a group of people surviving. You know, grouping those kinds of whale hunts in and comparing it to like the exploitation and degradation of like, you know, commercial capital whale hunting and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it just perpetuates a lot of you know, indigenous erasure under the guise of progressivism, in my opinion. So, you know,
I think that's a fair and accurate point.
Commercial whaling sucks, but hunting whales as an indigenous culture, pretty sweet. And, you know, not to...
What I would say is, how else am I going to light these lamps? I don't know how else to do it. I need whale blubber.
Have you heard of beeswax? Oh, the vegans don't like that one either, but...
We didn't prepare for that. We'll do that for the bee book.
I do feel a little bit guilty because I've tasted the delicious meat of a whale. I didn't. Yeah, in Japan.
Oh, sure. Yeah, whale meat.
Yeah, I lived in Japan for a year, and they serve it in school lunches.
Yeah,
and that's actually how I encountered
cheap.
it.
It's cheap and nutritious. Yeah, Japan is not one of my examples, specifically because Japan and Denmark still do a lot of commercial whaling, and they
in Japan, it's technically banned, but they do these harvests on. Yeah, they do it under like scientific reasons, and then it's like, oh well, let's have this leftover.
Yeah, we might as well sell this whale meat since we've done all of our research.
And they can't even really sell it. That's why he shows them in schools.
Yeah.
Let me take some of the murkiness off of Nate just a little bit. I wasn't going to bring this up because I'm not a narc, but I also hate my father, so I'll just get it done. My dad spent a lot of time working on the pipelines in Alaska. He stole whale vertebrae and a chunk of baleen, and he has it at his house because you're not supposed to transport that stuff.
Yeah.
It's highly illegal. Anybody out there wants some baleen or a whale vertebrae clock? Because he made a clock out of a whale vertebrae.
That's kind of cool.
They're super cool. It's just super illegal and disrespectful.
Yeah, for sure.
Your dad does that.
My dad does that.
Have we told the story of the monster yet?
Oh God. I don't know. So my dad made a monster. Let's put a pin in that for another episode.
Wait, like he
when we have
he reverse engineered an energy drink, or like he created a Frankenstein.
He made a Frankenstein. I'll just tell you real quick.
Teaser.
Yeah, don't.
I'll give you the 3 animals. I'll let you figure out how it works: boar, tortoise, and emu.
Okay, that. Next time, fans.
He made a monster.
Nepal. Tyler's dog Nepal ate a little bit of it.
He ate some of the monster.
And real quick, something I've been really thinking about a lot. I've been actually looking around my boxes and my bookshelves for it. I haven't been able to find it, but I want to give a special shout out to another young adult fantasy series. Diane Duane wrote a series of books called the Wizardry series. And the only book of the series I have read is book number 2, which is called Deep Wizardry. I'm a terrible person. I jumped in the series in number 2 and didn't read any others. But it's a book about a young boy and girl with magical powers, and they have to go down into the ocean and become whales and help a group of whale wizards carry out an ancient magical play, which represents the sacrifice of the innocent and the revitalization of the ocean.
Yeah, the great ones. They show up in Animorphs.
Yeah,
Animorphs number 5 or 4, whichever one.
Yeah, and so if you're interested in whales in specific, and you like just sort of that middle grade young adult style of fantasy. This book is from like fucking 1997. It's old as fuck.
Hell yeah.
But it's called Deep Wizardry by Diane Duane. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Read a better wizard book. And it's
Whale Wizards are better.
Whale Wizards are better, and there's like a lot of really interesting, beautiful world building between the different species of whales, and sort of the symbolic villain is this old mischievous sort of great white shark, and he plays the role of the villain in the performance, in the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, he has this sort of like, smirking aspect about all of his dialogue where you think maybe he's just gonna like fucking snap and do it for real and lose control. It's a really well written, cool, character driven series.
Fuck yeah.
If you're inspired by all the whale talk, go check out Deep Wizardry.
It's a whale of a time.
It's a whale of a time. Read Moby Dick too, because God, I fucking love Moby Dick.
Greatest American novel.
It really is. Yeah,
and
they call me Max Titters.
Call me Aldrea. Some years ago, never mind how many, I was leading a resistance force of Hork-Bajir warriors and sneaking off to a smash hut with my husband Dakhami.
Scratch! You're probably wondering how I got here.
I picture it like mid drop with this like eagle whale falling.
How did I, an Andalite warrior Nothlet Hork-Bajir, end up in the body of a young black girl?
Well, sit right down and I'll tell you a tale.
She lands in this yerk pool and just like vomits out sharks.
Right into the yerk pool.
Yeah.
Continues morphing. Her friends are demorphing in her mouth, and she's like, "Hurry up, let's go." And they're like, "We need air. Give these people air."
Come on, Cohagen, you got what you want. Give these people air.
Yeah, I love that it's that classic sort of cartoon slapstick bit where like you can tell that like she's sort of like like the talking with your mouth full bit is a perfect way to illustrate that.
Yep. Yeah. She goes up, she gets them air, they demorph. Jake and Rachel are hammerhead sharks, just eating yerks.
And taxxons.
And taxxons.
They're useless.
Yeah, taxxons can swim. That I was reminded. That's the scariest.
They can barely swim.
Yeah, that scares me so much.
No, what do you mean
so
barely
useless.
swim? Like they are a highly aquatic species.
No, Nate said he can barely swim.
No, I can swim. I can take a taxxon in water. Like they're so useless. Just like a hammerhead shark, like brushes past when they explode.
They're gelatinous, but they're deadly.
So yeah, like a taxxon is like a giant jello eel. It's like a moray eel made of jello.
You just hug it. Let's give it a
Yeah,
bear
Nate,
hug in
let the taxxon hug you. See what
the
happens.
hammerhead shark is really unfair, but a swimming taxxon is some scary shit.
Even in my soft human body, I think I could take down at least one.
Listeners, here's another claim Nate saying he can take an alien.
Nate can take down a taxxon in water, you know?
In water, not on land. I feel like on land they
Are you
pose more of
kidding?
a
It would
challenge.
be easier on land than in water.
Yeah, land would be so much
You
easier.
can climb a tree on land. You know, you can.
Yeah, but they don't have fins. They just like skitter about. They just kind of like eel their way around.
Yeah, but eels
It's
don't
like,
have fins, and they like sea snakes don't have fins, and they still are like incredibly dangerous predators.
as soon as I get past that needle mouth, I'm good. You just get out there and you hug it.
Jesus Christ!
Also, a
Just give a
taxxon
big
is
old bear
like
hug.
12 feet long. It's hard to
more to hug.
It's hard to appreciate how big 12 feet long is until you're next to it.
Apparently, it's like
it's 1.2 whale penises.
I was about to say it's like 2 shacks. Apparently, but
Oh, shut up.
because he's a tiny
like
man.
2 shacks.
He's small. Now.
It is 2 shacks.
But it's
fine.
But it's also like, would you be able to like take down a horse in water by hugging it?
If a horse was made of jello, yeah. Like because taxons, they describe them as just like they're there, but they just get torn to pieces by these
Well,
sharks.
because hammerhead sharks are, you know, a subspecies of the perfectly evolved aquatic killing machine.
Subspecies.
Anyway,
not even the good one.
There's a really
Not even
great
the good
character
one.
moment here. Talking about the plan, Aldrea's like, this is not how morphing powers are used.
Yeah.
Let's take our time. And they're just like, shut up, we're the Animorphs.
Yeah, shut up, lady. We've done this 200 times. You did it 3 times.
So they have
Fuck off.
they have their fun pool frolics, and they finally, the main point of the plan is that once they actually survive the plunge, falling in whale form from the sky to the pool, the Hork-Bajir will not fire on them with Dracon beams because they are among the Yeerks.
Yep.
And so they're basically like telling all the Yeerks to get to one end of the pool, get away from the danger zone, and then they have a window of just a few minutes while the Yeerks are slowly congregating in the shallow end to swim down to where the fuck hut smash pad buttresses up to the pool. They're gonna bust through the side of the pool into the smash pad and get those sweet guns.
Yep.
Get the gas stash.
And they do it.
They do it.
Well,
It
hold on.
happens.
There's a problem. There's a hiccup here. There's a code. Right? It's locked. It's a gun stash. But
You're right.
Put
It
a
is.
lock on
It does have a smart lock on it, and so
That's right.
Aldrea, as a very doting mother, has her baby son Ciro's birthday as the password.
Yep, as like the initial password, and then there's like this other password alongside it. Computer identification. Aldrea Iskilion?
Iskilion?
Doesn't matter. Iskilion. Aldrea Iskilion Falan. Code Mother Loves Zero.
Yeah. So her password is his birthday, and her voice recognition is "Mommy love the baby."
Yeah. And here, dear listeners, we get our first Yeerk genocide.
Yeah.
Because it empties the Yeerk pool.
So they go down. So it's kind of I had a difficult time sort of visualizing it, but as I understand it, you can think of the little weapons stash as like kind of the lock in a dam. They swim down in there. It starts to fill up with Yeerk water, Yeerk sludge. They slam the door shut. There's a pocket of air at the top of the little thing. They catch their breath, gather up all the guns, and then they bust out the other side. And so they create a bathtub drain in the Yeerk pool. And they schloop all the Yeerks out of the pool onto the forest floor and
to starve and die.
Starve, asphyxiate, and die. Yep.
And Cassie, either too tired from the multiple morphs or more likely withdrawn from killing thousands of Yeerks, withdraws into her own body and gives control to Aldrea.
The old Tobias maneuver.
The old Tobias.
The old Tobias, yep.
And they fly their ship and just they blast that Yeerk pool. They're burning everybody apart.
Oh yeah, the important detail we skipped over. Within the weapons cache, there's an old decommissioned police cruiser.
Yep.
An old, Crown Victoria with Yerk plates on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they load up all the guns into the Crown Vic, and they use that to blast their way out and fly back to the Arn headquarters.
And that's when it's time to say goodbye to Aldrea.
Yep.
This is the end. The chemotherapy only works for so long.
It's been a long day
without you, my friend. and this is when the book gets really sad.
Yeah.
Because
Paul Walker should have lived.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, that was a sad moment, but also Paul Walker was a fucking child groomer. Let's not ride his dick too hard.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
there was actually this embarrassing moment in the Paul Walker obit where they confused his girlfriend for his daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't see him again.
Yeah.
Maybe he should stay dead.
See you again in hell, Paul Walker.
I love the Fast series. I love that bromance on screen, but let's remember the person that Paul Walker was. He played
child grooming, charred corpse.
He played a character we loved, but he also dated women half his age, and
no good.
No good.
Aldrea, age appropriate with Dak.
Aldrea was age appropriate with Dak. That was there was a power dynamic, but
well, let's give and take. I'd say this much.
there's always a gap. There was a height gap in that relationship too.
No, we get something truly horrendous in this ending, in that Aldrea realizes that Dak may not leave willingly. Or not Dak, sorry. Toby may not leave willingly.
Yep.
And the Animorphs realize that as well.
Why?
Because Dak's a child and they're trying
Toby.
Toby is a child and they're trying to protect her feelings.
Toby is all hopped up on revolutionary, influence, and she just had this big raid, and she wants to stay on her home planet and help rebuild, which is noble and understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But she needs to be returned to her family and to the people that she knows and the world that she knows.
That gaggle of idiots is going to do something stupid on Earth.
To fight a war that maybe she can win, which the Hork-Bajir War, was lost decades ago. There may be another chance. Who knows? But Toby needs to go back home. And this is your family hiding an awful truth from the children to give them innocence for just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this through the hospice lens now since we've been recording. It hadn't really occurred to me before, but this is just like, okay, time to go watch a movie. Grandma's going to go to sleep, but Grandma's not going to sleep. Grandma's going to die. Grandma's going to be gone forever.
Yeah.
They take away Toby's agency in this situation, which I could argue rightfully so, because you should protect innocent people and you shouldn't let people ruin their lives,
and
like Toby was preparing to do.
Not just people, but children, literal children.
Yes, actual children. So they cook up this plot to make Aldrea come off as some asshole who's going to stay in Cassie. So they have to get rid of her. And they do that by saying, well, we're going to take Dak, so you better let Cassie go.
Yep. Toby.
Yeah, god damn it. I cannot keep it straight.
They're both special.
They're both different. They're both seers.
They're both different.
Yep.
And they taint the memory of who Aldrea was for Toby.
To protect her.
And that's to protect her, but it's kind of shitty. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to protect children.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do a shitty thing to protect children.
I will also say, if tainting my memory is for the greater good, yeah, sure, do it. Oh yeah, no, I was totally like a Nazi. Yeah, no, you should be glad I'm dead. If it serves a greater cause, don't do that if it doesn't. That's
right?
mean.
Yeah, don't just do it.
That's an interesting. That's a way to frame the severity of it for sure. Is like pretending to have been like a Klansman or a Nazi in order to preserve the innocence of your great-grandchild by killing your own personal legacy.
It's It's nuanced, it's deep, it's dark, and this book does not give us what every other Animorphs book before it did. It doesn't give us a happy... closed is maybe not the right thing. It does not give us that moment where the Animorphs decompress and make a joke. This book ends like this. I left Cassie behind, lifted up out of her body, her mind, and was drawn back to the bottle. I could no longer touch, no longer hear, no longer see. For a while I could remember. It wouldn't take Toby long to realize she'd been tricked, but by then Toby and the others would be on their way back to Earth. My thoughts, my consciousness, my memory were all fading. I still saw my son, still saw Dak, still saw, and that's the end of the book.
Ooh, I just got little chills up the back of my neck there from that.
So did I. That is some dark shit. Because, like, sure, this is a Cassie story, but we
don't end on Cassie's perspective.
We don't. This is Aldrea.
Yeah.
This is Aldrea's eulogy. Her elegy. Like, this is her saying goodbye. This is future Cassie saying goodbye.
I was gonna say the final. In a sense, it's very heavy, but it's tinged with that sort of emotional relief and that reassurance, because right before this moment, right before they trick Toby, we finally get Aldrea and Cassie finally speak to each other, and Aldrea tells Cassie why she was chosen. So Cassie's moment in the story does end on a moment of closure. Aldrea says, "Don't you know, even now, the icicle is drawn to a mind that reflects it. And I like to think even that inchoate, non-conscious version of me was honorable enough to know I might be tempted, that I might be tempted to cling to life, and that I might need someone strong enough to return me to the path of my own fate." So Aldrea's spirit recognized that Cassie's willpower and her sense of self was strong and honorable enough to remind Aldrea of her own purpose as well.
Fuck.
I mean, this is Aldrea's story. Like, the thing that you just described, I think, was the true B plot, was Cassie's closure. But ultimately, the thing that really drives the plot forward, the thing that's the real core here, is Andrea's perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Like it is her closure, her eulogy, because we never really got that with Andalite Chronicles, right? Like, or not wrong Chronicles.
Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Go ahead.
You're
correct. No, that's a great observation, because the Hork-Bajir Chronicles does end with basically Aldrea and Dak, arm around each other's waist, staring into the uncertain future as the nanovirus, as the gene virus sort of spreads through the jungle. And then on that bleak moment of uncertainty, smash cut back to Tobias around the Hork-Bajir campfire, where Jara Hammy is finishing the bedtime story as the sun peeks up over the horizon at dawn, you know? So we didn't ever get closure. The only closure that we had till this book was that Aldrea made a choice with an uncertain and, you know, uncertainly hopeful outcome.
It was the legacy. We got the legacy as closure, right? Like, okay, we get Toby as closure, not necessarily, like, you know, because like that's what some people get sometimes. It's just like nobody is actually going to know your story ever, really. Like, you know, even the people that you're closest with aren't going to know every single detail of your death and who you were as a person, because that's impossible. Only you know that. But the things that you do and the things that you leave behind give everyone hints. So Andrea gets another chance at a hint of letting the universe know who she was.
Yeah, and she gets to influence her own legacy, her own family, by inspiring Toby to take up the cause, to feel such pride for where they come from, for who they are, and that fighting for that is worth it.
And that's something that's not directly addressed all that much, but I really appreciate was, like, you know, it's a book about family. not to bring it back to Fast and Furious, but, like, you know, it's a book of, like, okay, all these Hork-Bajir, they actually don't know what their home planet looks like, except for Toby now, right? They don't know, like, because like the whole Hork-Bajir Chronicles, like they were hearing stories, they were learning stuff, and Toby kind of got that through seer visions, I guess, and maybe she's passing that on. But it's the story of a dead civilization.
Well,
and Aldrea is kind of bringing that back.
Yeah, even Toby. I mean, the framing device for the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is that Tobias is sucked into a trance at the voice of Jarahambi. So he's not even being told the story with the true, or like not the true, but the fluid diction of a seer. He's hearing the Hork-Bajir Chronicles in baby talk the whole time.
The Hork-Bajir are Americans. Because we're a country that really doesn't know any of our history or origins, and we try to make up one, and it's very racist.
Yeah, we don't have a history or origin that's any kind of good.
And like it's coming to accept that, right? Like that's the real kind of, because like either you accept it or you make your own, and it's kind of gross. So I mean, free or die is what I'll say.
Free or die.
Free or die.
Y'all like this book?
Oh yeah.
Nate, where does it rank for you?
It's not my top Cassie book, I think, but like all Cassie books are pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, how about this? It's better than all Marco and Jake books.
Okay.
How about that? Because those books always lay a little bit low.
I think Marco does have a couple pretty good books, but yeah, in general, I don't connect much with the Jake books.
This isn't the weakest Cassie book.
Yeah.
I think too. Like, I think what is the weakest Cassie book? Probably the Whale.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has to do with going down under.
Cool. It's a good book, and it's a good story, and it what it does. I think the reason why I like it gives more flavor to the universe and the creatures that live there, and we get more Hork-Bajir, and we want more Hork-Bajir.
Yeah, like the times they've gone off planet so far. Oh, they're going to the Iskort world to fight a secret war with the devil. This book gives more context to their fight, their world, what's important to them, things they know.
Right, the things that they say in that... here, I'm just going to do a little quote here. Yeah, Marco yelled. Take that, George Lucas. I really felt that. It's an emotional link.
Yeah, and,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Nate, I would also say that... I don't remember your specific reaction, but I think the Anteater book is a pretty bad Cassie book. The tiny people, the
Helmicrons, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Nate loves that fucking book.
I think that there's some good things in the Helmicrons.
I'll have to revisit that book because I was not impressed by that book much.
Marco trying to fuck Cassie immediately when they're shrunk was pretty good.
Honestly, I love two types of stories: really good ones and really bad ones. It's the ones in the middle that I can do without.
Okay.
And I think the Helmicrons crossed over that barrier,
which is why I think you're gonna love the Orca book.
I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, prophecy. Oh, so
what is the
prophecy?
Prophecy?
What is the prophecy, Nate?
Other than a Christopher Walken movie, or is that The Omen? No, Prophecy.
Nate, what would you say is the prophecy that is fulfilled here?
Free or die. Free or die.
Okay, so this is the establishing of the prophecy and not the fulfillment of it.
Well, I mean, there's no prophecy. I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah,
there's a seer. We have a clear seer. Is acknowledged as a seer.
Yeah.
Seers, they make prophecies. They do that.
Okay. So you would say the prophecy is Toby's promise of a brighter tomorrow.
I would. Yeah, actually, it probably is Toby. The prophecy is Toby.
Okay.
Like if you want to do the Hallmark kind of soft interpretation of it, it is. Andrea's legacy. That is the prophecy.
Okay. I'll accept that. Yeah. I still think it's a pretty weak title as far as.
Yeah, most definitely.
The Legacy would be a much better title.
The Legacy would be much better. Do we have The Legacy?
Not that I can recall, but I am obviously not the Animorphs expert.
Yeah.
For this podcast, yes, but in general, no.
Yeah.
What about the Smash Hut?
The Smash Hut.
The Smash Hut works for the tagline too. You don't know what can't hurt you. So I mean, hey.
You don't know what can't hurt you in the Smash Hut.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I just searched animorphs.fandom.com. The Legacy is not a title.
Mm.
So
yeah, well.
I'm gonna fly down to California and yell at those two old coots to get this renamed.
Like, come on, Kathy Apples.
Gotta give it up.
Come on.
But yeah, this is a great one.
It's a good one for sure.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Knowing what's to come, this is a nice, beautiful. It's a nice, beautiful little like requiem. This is a good book,
and it sets up a future Attack of the Clones. We're gonna see those clones.
Yeah.
Oh, God willing.
God willing.
Father Deep willing.
Mother Sky willing.
Yeah. Please, dear God.
The trees are speaking tonight, friends.
So yeah, that's number 34. I like this book. Drew, thank you again for joining us. This is an absolute delight.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Anything you want to plug your shit. Let the people know where they can find you. Because if you're not following Drew already, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, I am on Twitter at Henri Lefebvre.
Mm-hmm. I was prepared to pronounce it this time. I had it right.
It's
Ixical.
It's ANRILEFEBVRE. Lefebvre. It's a really dumb play on words. If you DM me about it, I'll explain it. I've explained it a couple times on my timeline, and it's just like, if you know, you know at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm on the Discord. I don't have anything specific to plug. Maybe in the future, I'm working on a little fantasy saga of my own.
Hell yeah.
Here, let me.
A prophecy, one might say.
Yeah, here's the prophecy. Actually, I made a fun little dumb fourth wall breaking tweet about it. I'll tweet, and if it tickles your fancy, if you want some details, yeah, shoot me a DM, hit me up on Discord, and I will give you the deets. But here's the summary of what I'm working on, the teaser. A shy goblin friar, a disillusioned elf artificer, an apprehensive human alderman, a frivolous merfolk sculptor, and an irascible vampire shaman walk into a bar. Bartender says, "This setting doesn't have POV characters from Henri Lefebvre's work-in-progress fantasy novel meeting yet. Try book 2. Boom. 5 point-of-view characters, fantasy saga. Coming, y'all.
I'm excited for this alderman.
Yeah.
What you don't know can't hurt you, except for a merman. He actually can. He can just get you.
They can just get you.
The alderman is a sad sack. Let me tell you.
Oh, I wonder why I went right for that one.
He is a depressing waste of space. in a good way, in the best way. I love all my characters, but yeah, it's some nerd shit. It's nothing special, but I'm working on it and may have some.
Well, you missed your audience. There are no nerds listening to this.
Yeah, only cool chads.
I know. That's unfortunately only cool chads listen to Animorphing Time.
Ugh.
The podcast where, once again, if you're mouth bored, we can't help you.
But if you're
bored, stick around. Thank you so much.
Stick around. Thank you, Drew. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's go to Kit Fisto's diner.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Dax Funglove? What's his
Dexter
name?
Jetster?
Dexter. Oh, God,
Let's go to Dexter Jetster.
People are defending those fucking prequels.
They're good.
Take a seat. I'll be right with you. Hey, oh, buddy. So, my friend, what can I do for you?
You can tell me what this is.
Well, what do you know? I ain't seen one of these since I was prospecting on Sub-Derel, beyond the Outer Rim.
Can you tell me where it came from? Thank you.
This baby belongs to them cloners. What you got here is a Camino Saber Dart.